time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
We'll know in a very short period of time, but it looks like it could be something that will be not good. Believe me, not good.
I see issue with that. And again,
you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not going to happen.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to foot.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Hello, dissidents. Welcome one and all to a Sunday evening edition of the Do Dissidents podcast. Keaton Weiss here with Russell Dobular.
Hola.
That's for 829 in the YouTube and Twitter
What about
chat.
the left-hand path? What's going on Rumble, man?
Rumble's doing just fine. 743. That's good for a left. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Real Satan worshipers over there, man.
Well, this is the Trump draw. This is the Trump draw. You know, everybody just like Trump had a huge turnout in New York, a beautiful turnout, a massive success, a lot of love.
People
fest.
are saying they've never seen anything like it in the Bronx.
It's the best. It's the biggest crowd ever in the Bronx.
Not since the Iroquois had a powwow there have they seen anything like this.
Not since Reggie Jackson hit the 3 home run game in the 70s. That's when the last gathering of people.
That was the last time, and even that was small.
Even that was small.
It was small.
It was okay.
This was big,
huge.
huge. People are saying huge.
What a huge turnout. What a turnout tonight. What a turnout. Thank you guys all for being here very much. We appreciate it. 9:44 now in the YouTube chat, 8:15 over on Rumble. Got a very special show tonight, a little bit of a different show tonight. We're doing a few quick segments at the top, and then we will be presenting Braga, which is Russell's special presentation on his trip to the MAGA Rally in the Bronx. So that will be the lion's portion of the show tonight. It's another special report show, so something a little different from what we usually do. But we're excited to show you guys that. And we got some stuff to take care of at the top of the show as well. I got a kind of a fun family announcement to make, which is that my brother Ian, is now a published opinion contributor in The Hill. And his first piece in The Hill as a journalist now was inspired by a segment that we did on our show, showing Kevin O'Leary bragging to Greg Gutfeld about how he will use deep, dark search web bullshit things to root out campus protesters and basically blacklist them for life to ensure that they don't get good jobs. So the headline, which The Hill came up with, which my brother was quite happy with, Kevin O'Leary's dystopian fantasy of ruining the lives of campus protesters. And so my brother is a practicing lawyer, and so he actually runs down a legal argument for why this can happen and why it really is a sick fantasy of Kevin O'Leary's. It was just posturing for the media. Wouldn't it be great if we could destroy these anti-genocide kids, right? So give that a read. That is at The Hill. That's the headline. That article is featured in the pinned tweet on the Do Dissidents profile. So go give that a read and a share to help my brother make the transition from well-paid lawyer to starving journalist. That's a great career move.
It's a family affair.
Went from doing legal work for 6 figures to writing op-eds for free. And figuring out how to occasionally make $5 off of a monthly subscriber. Yeah.
That's what they call a lateral move.
Yeah, it's a lateral move. Yeah, it's what they call in the business the lateral move. So that's the article. Go check it out. Congratulations on my brother Ian for getting that published. And yes, it is the pinned tweet on the top of our profile. So give that a retweet if you can and have a read. It's well done. I read it. So it's good stuff. And it's inspired by a Due Dissidence segment. And my brother will be in the audience at one of the live shows. So maybe we'll do a little Kevin O'Leary roast at one of our live shows. That'll be fun.
You know what's sad, because we need more contributors of articles to the Substack. Your brother's too big for us right out of the gate.
I know. Right out of the gate,
jumped right over us. He jumped right over us.
Yeah, jumped right over us and went right to the hill. Yeah, indeed. Well, hey, maybe he can. What would be really ironic?
Ian, you were my brother. You were supposed to look out for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, what would be really ironic is since that was published in The Hill, if he ends up on the Rising show before Bree ends up on this show.
Yeah, and then he could give her a piece of his mind.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You could tell her to DM us back. There we go. We'll be calling in favors from him pretty soon.
Yep.
That's the path we're on.
That's the power of a law degree, man.
Yes, the power of a law degree, indeed. All right, folks. Well, we got a very Trump-centric show this evening. Very, very Trump-heavy show because the meat of this evening's episode is going to be our coverage of the Trump rally in the Bronx. But, of course, Trump made another high-profile appearance in Washington, D.C. yesterday at the Libertarian Convention, and he was booed throughout the speech. I watched the whole speech. Our friend Craig Pasta-Jardula was there covering it. Our new friend Nathan from NSS and News, who was following us when we canvassed for Jose, he was there too. And I watched his feed as well. And so we had a couple friends of the show down there. We're going to see if we can get Pasta for Tuesday to do a full convention recap because a lot went down. He might come on. I might be flying out Tuesday, but we'll have him on sooner or later. But we're going to talk more about this on Tuesday. But here was the viral moment of Donald Trump asking to be the Libertarian Party's nominee, despite it just having broken 20 minutes before we went on air. He actually never filed the paperwork to make that a possibility. So I don't even know why he bothered going down to do it. Yeah, no, he never even bothered. He did a Cenk Uygur thing. That's like how Cenk would ask to be the nominee, is not file the paperwork, but go down there and ask to be the nominee anyway. So he floats
it's a
himself.
well-oiled machine.
Exactly, yeah.
He's tired of winning.
Winning.
He didn't want to win another one.
No. He's had enough winning. Well, he went down there. He said, how about you make me the nominee? Here's the crowd reaction, and Trump, short fuse that he is, dished it right back to him.
The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Thank you, D-Roy. Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. The reasons for doing so, policy and politics, are as solid as the Hope Diamond.
Okay, now he says, nominate someone else if you want to get your 3% like you do every 4 years. Now, Trump did not even make the voting process because he didn't file the proper paperwork. Apparently, RFK was knocked out in the first round with 2%. So the Libertarians really pulled off a pretty good flex here, I have to say. They did to Trump and RFK what Trump did to Mitt Romney. Remember when Trump was acting like he was going to give Mitt Romney a job, so he brought him out to dinner and they took pictures.
We'll go out for calzone.
Exactly. And ended up totally snubbing him. That's what the Libertarians did to RFK and Trump. They invited them to the convention knowing they'd get a ton of press out of it. And it basically worked as a commercial for their party because they got way more press, almost infinitely more press than they would have gotten if they didn't have RFK or Trump there.
People wouldn't have even known it happened.
They wouldn't have even known it happened. Exactly. But by inviting and getting Trump and RFK there, they got all these eyeballs on them. They never had any intention of nominating either one of them. Trump didn't even make the vote. RFK got 2% of the vote. And so it just turned out to be this giant commercial for the Libertarian Party to the point where whichever no name they end up going with now will be given a lot more legitimacy in the public eye thanks to the fact that they had all these eyeballs on their convention this weekend. So it was actually pretty well played. It was pretty well played and pretty stupid of Trump to show up. If you're not even going to, if you know it's going to be an L, you don't even file the paperwork. Apparently it was a big disaster. So they had the MAGA chuds were sitting in the front rows of the auditorium where the Libertarian Party delegates were supposed to sit. Those were their seats. So before Trump came on, they had a big fight trying to get the MAGA people out of the front row. They didn't want to move. So they eventually made them move. So he comes on. They heckle him throughout the speech. I watched the entire speech. It was a chaotic scene. It was a horrible reception for Trump the whole time. And he comes out of there without the nomination. He just gave the Libertarian Party, which he was ostensibly there to seek the nomination so that they wouldn't cut into his vote count in November. He just made them more powerful than they would have been had he not gone. And the ultimate Trump flex would have been when he found out that they displaced the MAGA voters. There was a Nakba of MAGA people in the front row of the convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they displaced. They made them move so that the Libertarian people could come in and sit in those seats. He could have just come out and said, "You disrespected my people. I'm out." No speech. That would have been a flex. Instead, he comes there, he grovels, he gets booed, he leaves there empty-handed, and they leave there with...
His reception in the Bronx probably swelled his head.
Maybe, probably. That probably inflated his ego. He leaves empty-handed. They
Not
leave
that he
with the
needs help.
biggest convention they've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting having just watched Trump play to this absolutely fanatically adoring crowd, and then to watch this a few days later. And hey, you know, he's very New York. He had a very quick response, a funny response, a response that would play to audiences outside that hall like ourselves who are watching the video. You know, he's sharp on his feet, and that is definitely one of the things that really contrasts with Biden. I mean, you can say what you want about them being almost the same age, and while that might be true, different people age different ways. Not everybody ages the same way. For whatever reason, and I can tell you because I have personal knowledge of this, I've mentioned this before. I have a friend from high school who's actually a patron of the show, dear friend of mine. One of his first jobs was babysitting Fred Trump after he got Alzheimer's because the guy was such a tough son of a bitch. He had broken his hip. He had Alzheimer's, but he still kept getting up to go to work every day, and they would let him. The limo would come for him, and they'd let him sit in the office as if he's doing something. They just kind of humored him. But physically, he was still able to do that. But my friend got hired because he didn't know what time it was. So they found he would go outside at 2 o'clock in the morning to wait for the limo. So my friend's only job was to make sure Fred Trump didn't stand outside at 2 a.m. wondering why his limo wasn't there. All this to say, Fred Trump was in his 90s at that point. So Trump has good genes, man. Trump has good genes. Like, actually, if you look at his family history, this motherfucker could maybe do another couple terms.
Yeah.
Like, he does not read as in any way frail or aging or suffering. No, he's very, like, his mental acuity is very sharp. He's very quick on his comebacks. I'll get into this more in my segment, but having watched him up close, yeah, I mean, it reaffirmed a lot of what I've said about him always. He signals as a guy from a bar in Queens. He really does. His sense of humor, his affect, his body language. It is a guy who you would have next to you on a bar stool in Queens. So, of course, coming to New York, you had a lot of people like that at this rally. The kind of crowd that was there was very familiar to me. But watching him there where he's dealing with a hostile crowd, it's a very New York comeback. Yeah, okay. Well, so fine. Why don't you get your 3% then?
Yeah, take your 3%.
All right.
Yeah,
Go get your fucking shine box.
Yeah. No, he was good. He did not get flustered. You know, he just kind of kept reading. Like, he didn't lose his shit, which was good for him. But at the same time, like, could you imagine the Democrats going and trying to win the Green Party's nomination? Like, they wouldn't have even gone there. Like, they wouldn't give the Green Party that kind of a flex.
They wouldn't give them the dignity.
Right. They wouldn't show them that kind of respect. I'm not saying I'm not applauding them for that. I'm just saying they would never do that. But he goes there hat in hand. Same with RFK. You go there hat in hand. You end up just strengthening their nominee, who's not you, not even close.
Right.
Trump got nothing. RFK got 2 points. So well played. Well played.
No, this will make a lot of people take another look at the Libertarian Party.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. I mean, how many Trump voters never even heard of the Libertarian Party? Like most voters don't even know of these third parties.
Most people don't like Donald Trump.
Right.
Most people do not like Donald Trump. He has a very fanatical base of support to whom his braggadocio appeals. That is definitely part of my analysis after having watched it in action.
Yes.
A lot of it is that Trump's vulgar behavior, a kind of behavior that at one time we would have considered extremely distasteful, particularly in someone in the ruling class. It's the snobs versus slobs thing. It's the, hey, look at my gold toilet, huh? Look at this gold toilet over here. It's a very relatable kind of elite, and it makes him not read as an elite. That bragging, that constant bragging, for some people that's appealing. You know, I mean, it's also that alpha ape thing. Look me, brought big shiny rock from ocean myself.
Right.
Certain people really that hits something in their primate brain where they just want to follow somebody who talks like that.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed. Give a round of applause to Jake, our producer friend. He is here
Skinhead
tonight.
Jake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Skinhead Jake, our producer.
Hey, Jake, we have a little bit of a problem. For some reason, StreamYard is not flagging. It's not starring the super chats. So if you could keep an eye out and manually star them. I went back and manually caught. Well, I think I got everyone. But if you could just keep an eye out for that. And then during the video, I will try and figure out what the hell. I'll try and figure out what the hell is going on. But for now, StreamYard has failed us, and they're not starring the super chats, and we don't want to miss those. In fact, let's read a few right now, and Rumble Rants are open because Jake is here, so send those if you got those. Eric Rousseau sending some working class old school metalhead solidarity. Thank you, Eric Rousseau. Appreciate that.
Woo!
Jenna Tills, the neighbor of the beast. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate that. Okay. Beautiful. And we got a few Rumble Rants already. Jake, where are those Rumble Rants? I don't see them in the banner section. Is StreamYard glitching out on us this evening? Seems like StreamYard is not having a good night, because if they're not if they're not doing the Rumble Rants, are you Jews live yet? Yes, we are now. Thank you very much. Yeah, something's going on. Something's going on with the shit tonight. Bad news, Double D boys. My diabetes is acting up and I'm in the ER. Oh, no. So I won't be able to call in tonight and give the show His Highness bounce. Send THC oil and women. Well, I'm glad you're maintaining your sense of humor amid those circumstances, His Highness. But thank you. I'm sorry to hear that. And best wishes to you, of course. Segment suggestion, NCAA Big Five agreement update on Russell's Ford stock. Yeah, there we go. That's be an update. Thank you, Abiding. Appreciate that. Yeah, why is the Rumble Rant thing not working? That's weird. Wow, StreamYard really fucking it up tonight. Not good. Believe me, not good. Fucking thing sucks.
I'm going to profit on my Ford stock, and Disney has collapsed about 22% since I said it would.
All right, there we go. Okay, now the starred super chat thing seems to be working. That option just appeared out of nowhere. So hopefully we get our banner machine working too. That would be nice if we can have both of those things working at the same time. That would be wonderful. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jake. All right. We will move on here to segment number 2. Glenn Greenwald and Alan Dershowitz met up in New York City to debate U.S. policy towards Iran. Should we bomb Iran? Talk about a debate from 2007-2008 era. At one point in this debate, Dershowitz apparently said we should have attacked Iran instead of Iraq in 2003, which is one way to interpret foreign affairs circa mid-aughts. But this is another piece in which Dershowitz is talking about the Iranian airstrike against Israel. And this is old school Greenwald in action. This is what many of us got to know Greenwald for. So here he is just dismantling.
He gave him what
Dershowitz.
is known in the biz as the full Greenwald.
The full Greenwald, indeed.
That Iran did not want to kill Israelis, that it sent these hundreds of drones knowing they would all be miraculously stopped. Can you justify that?
Yeah, what I want to say is if Iran has such a primitive army that they're not capable of landing even a single missile inside Israel because all they have is a bunch of crappy drones and slow missiles that can be removed from the sky by Jordan and by the United Arab Emirates, then they're hardly an imposing country. The reality is
All
that
you need is
Hezbollah...
all you need is one to get through.
Alan, please.
One, that's all you need.
Hezbollah has hundreds of, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of highly sophisticated missiles pointed directly at every single major Israeli city, including Tel Aviv. If Iran wanted to do a kind of response against Israel that you're suggesting they wanted, they had that capability and they didn't because they're a rational, restrained country that didn't want to end up in a world war. I know. The only rational, restrained countries are America, Israel, and the West. That's what your media tells you all the time, so I know that you believe that. But there are actually other rational, restrained countries in the world, too. You're always told there's a new Hitler in Iran, there's a new Hitler in Russia, there's a new Hitler named Hamas, there's a new Hitler in Syria, and you believe it all the time, and you stand up and you cheer all those evil, irrational countries. As I said, if you look at who the ones are who are starting wars, it is your country, the United States, and along with Israel as well. And that is just the reality if you remove yourself from Western propaganda.
Yeah. That is the Greenwald that we all came to know. And I'm not suggesting he abandoned that in any sense. He hasn't. He's been very principled throughout his career as a journalist, which is why he has attracted such a viewpoint diverse audience. But when we had Glenn on the show, he talked about the danger of audience capture. He was very forward with us. He said, yeah, I've attracted a pretty big MAGA following over the past few years because he was anti-Russiagate, as we were, and didn't see Trump as the cause of every political problem in the country, but rather a symptom, which is basically our take on it, too.
Sure.
And Jimmy's, and we all get called, these sort of crypto closet Trumpers because of that. And he's been called that too, and we've been called that too, and I don't mind being called that.
Not after tonight.
Yeah, right. Not after tonight. I don't mind MAGA people showing up in our audience and our chat. In fact, we welcome them with open arms.
Yep.
But that anti-war critique, anti-imperialist critique, is what a lot of us who have been following Glenn's work for decades now came to know him for. That reminded me of the epic smackdown he gave Bill Maher when Bill Maher made a very similar argument. And Greenwald says, we keep calling all these Muslim countries violent.
Yep.
We're the ones instigating the violence around the world. It's us. We can blame these other countries. The fact that we blame these other countries around the world for the instability around the world, that is a function of Western propaganda. That is not a reflection of reality. And man, did he land that one.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, and I think we should all start doing this because I've seen such a chart. It does exist. Show the body counts by the country. It's the next most warlike country I think would probably be Russia. It's a speck. It's a speck compared to the number of casualties the United States is responsible for. It's not even in the neighborhood. It really isn't. It's like atomic level compared to our level of death and destruction that we've imposed on the world. It's Marcus Aurelius. How do you know a thing? By what it does. What do? We kill people. We destroy countries. We displace governments. We overthrow leaders. We knock countries back to a state where they reestablish slave trades, as in Libya. I don't see Russia doing that. I don't see China doing that. I don't see Saudi Arabia doing that. And certainly there are internal laws within Saudi Arabia that I don't agree with. But one, that's for the Saudi Arabians to sort out. And two, even if all the worst things that are said about China and Russia and the Middle East, if all the worst things are true, they still do not even begin to approach the level of genocidal, maniacal murder that the United States has committed.
Exactly. Let's go to meme of the week while we're on a break here. We got a meme of the week here. I picked this one since Russell was in his bunker editing his MAGA opus here. But I like this one. This was good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. And I like that it says fascism. I like that it equates capitalism with the sort of rainbow and the party atmosphere, because that's really what it is. I mean, you could say that's neoliberalism. You could say it's liberalism, but it's really capitalism, because capitalism creates this illusion of freedom. And that's what the clown and the balloons are there for. It's there to keep you thinking, oh, look, we are free to enjoy our lives. Meanwhile, the same boot that's on our neck now is the boot that would be on our neck in a so-called fascist country. So,
well, that's we started to get into this a little bit with Anya in the last clip that we dropped about Maduro and, the difference between more Christian leftism that they're practicing in Venezuela. And, Catherine Liu, in Virtue Hoarders, case against the professional managerial class, she makes a very interesting argument there. And I touched on that, how she's arguing that this ever expanding menu of sexual options and the encouragement of promiscuity and the breakdown of monogamy and family as a goal is extremely compatible with the needs of capitalism for a mobile, rootless workforce. She really argues that the reason that ideology has been pushed out is because it serves capitalism to have a whole population of people with no commitment to anything other than their job.
Yeah, indeed. Jake, I got the rants. I'll copy and paste over to Rumble Rants. Apparently the super chat thing is still not working. It's selected on StreamYard, but it's not flagging them. So if you could just do me a favor and keep an eye on the YouTube scroll, and I'll handle the Rumble Rants. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, cool. Let's go on to a couple of super chats here. We're still catching them. Don't worry, folks. You can still send them. Your super chats are safe with us. Benny Massimo, Biden is clearly demented. How can anyone ignore this? Well, you look at the performance of a guy like Trump time after time, night after night, put that next to Joe Biden. I mean, yeah, it's night and day. But apparently there's a debate in 1 month, June 27th. That's going to be something.
We will cover that live.
Yes, indeed. Granite Liberty, the Libertarians Reason magazine provided the debate forum for Greenwald. Look at them grabbing at relevance. I don't know if they provided the forum or if they were just there covering it. I'm not sure. I seem to remember a different organization sponsoring it, because my brother, Speak of the Devil, who we just gave a plug to earlier, he was in the audience that night, as was our friend Jose Vega. And Jose didn't even need to intervene. He thought Greenwald handled it pretty well. He's like, I could take the night off. I think Greenwald's got it. I think he has.
It was like Robert De Niro on Cape Fear. He had a big cigar.
Yeah, just taking the night off. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Okay. Oops, sorry. Let's copy this over to this scroll here. All right. Dershowitz should be investigated with a deep, dark search. Instead, he's on stage getting cheered on by neocons for advocating preemptive bombing of Iran. He is a loose cannon. He certainly is.
People make me sick, man.
Yeah. We were trying to be on our best behavior tonight, since we don't want to have to edit anything out of the stream because we have Russell's video. So we want to be able to preserve this live chat. So we're trying not to say anything we'll have to edit out, but good call. Yeah, indeed. Username. Thanks, username. Appreciate that over here. Sorry, our tech is kind of failing us tonight, but at least the videos are playing. That's the most important thing. So username over here says, how can Western propagandists be so high on their own propaganda supply in comparison to the Cold War? They used to be smart enough to understand the difference between their bullshit and reality. Yep. Yeah. No, it is. It's getting really extreme. Well, that's that here. Talk about, Karl Marx. That's heightening the contradictions, as they say, right? That's what they would say. That's what you guys would say. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. P. Walker says, Jake, did you catch that one on the start? Man, this StreamYard is fucking up tonight. We need to have the first due dissidents drinking game for the Trump-Biden debate, says P. Walker. Yeah. I don't know if you've got that one, Jake, or if you missed it, but I got that one. You're starring them. See, you're starring them, but I can't see them unless I star them. All right. Wow. So that's no good. We got to email StreamYard after this show for sure because we can't have that. Well, it's a good night to have a long video because I'll just be able to sit here and star the things manually as they come in. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That sucks. I was going to go get a beer while the film played, but now I'll have to sit here anyway. Thanks, P. Walker.
That's what wives are for, Caden.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
And failing that, children.
Well, I'll have my kids sit here and do the starring of the super
Have
chats.
your kids go get you a fucking beer, man.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You've raised those brats, diapered them, cleaned them up.
No, I meant leave the house, like go to a bar and just
fed.
hang out at a bar and then come back in an hour. That's all.
I see.
Yeah. No, I can get a beer in the fridge. I can make that. We need to have the first due dissidents drinking game for the Trump-Biden debate. Yeah, that would be fun. I'd be up for that. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, this is really a pain in the ass tonight. I apologize for that, folks. Nothing we could do about that. That is StreamYard. That's not us. I just caught another one, which we'll show in a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's go on to segment number 3 here. In fact, Russell, do you want to? No, that's all right. I'll do it. I just got to keep my eye on the super chat thing too. Dave Chappelle, Russell's endorsee for president of the United States. Russell's a 2-time Dave Chappelle voter. Is that correct?
Yes. I've written in Dave Chappelle the last 2 presidential elections. I was hearing rumors from various wags that Chappelle was a Zionist, and that was hard for me to believe, but this happens a lot where people surprise you with this shit, particularly on this subject. But no, turns out I can go for the 3-peat on Dave Chappelle.
Yep. There you go. You don't have to rescind any endorsements here. Dave Chappelle says there's a genocide in the Gaza Strip as Israel-Hamas war rages on there. American comedian Dave Chappelle said Thursday a genocide is striking the Gaza Strip amid the Israel-Hamas war to cheers during his performance in the capital of the United Arab Emirates, while urging Americans to fight anti-Semitism so Jews don't feel like they need to be protected by Israel. Hey, that
is the kind of insight I expect from Mr. Chappelle.
Exactly. Chappelle's comments come as Abu Dhabi has maintained its diplomatic relations with Israel, even as it has increasingly criticized its conduct in the 7-month war. Meanwhile, while pro-Palestinian marches have swept across the wider Middle East since the war began, protests and speech remains tightly restricted in the Emirates, a federation of 7 sheikdoms on the Arabian Peninsula. Even before coming on stage, the full crowd at Abu Dhabi's Etihad Arena cheered as DJ Trauma, who accompanied Chappelle on the trip, played the song My Blood is Palestinian by the Palestinian singer Mohammed Asaf. The thousands there agreed to place their switched-off mobile phones in the locked pouches for the performance, a standard feature of Chappelle's shows. That's why we never get any video of any of this. Should we do that at our live show? Should we make people lock their phones away?
Well, we were going to throw them in a big bucket.
I was going to say you give them to Vito, and he'll take care of them. He'll make sure nothing happens to them. Yeah, on the way in.
Yeah, you just got to tip him a little to get him back.
Yeah, exactly. Throw him a few bucks, and he'll watch out for you. Exactly.
Service charge.
Yeah. About halfway through, in a wide-ranging comedy set in Abu Dhabi, Chappelle, a Muslim, initially said he had been told by his friends either to discuss the war or not. From the audience, a woman screamed, "Free Palestine." The crowd cheered. Chappelle then said the Gaza Strip faces a genocide. He also said that making Jews safer in America amid rising cases of anti-Semitism would make them realize they don't need Israel as an ultimate protector. Another moment also displayed just how diverse the crowd was in the Abu Dhabi. In telling another joke about how Jews cheer while drinking, Chappelle said "L'chaim" or "to life" in Hebrew, "L'chaim," or "to life" in Hebrew, which another man shouted back from the audience.
Fucking Maltese cunt.
Yeah, L'chaim. But when touching on the upcoming U.S. election, Chappelle's mention of President Joe Biden, who has promised ironclad support for Israel, drew widespread boos throughout the arena. Donald Trump drew scattered cheers. Chappelle, as other artists during the performance, told some racy jokes and swore, but they largely avoided discussing local politics, though Chappelle did make a sly joke about the UAE's widespread surveillance network and another deadpanning about how difficult it is to be gay in the country, or how difficult is it to be gay in the country as homosexuality is illegal. But he also came out on stage with a falcon on his arm, a symbol for the UAE. Chappelle 50 won the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2019. He performed at the Abu Dhabi Comedy Week. So yes, that you're right. That is an insight I would kind of expect from him, telling Americans if you take it a little easier on the Jews, maybe they won't feel so paranoid as to think that they need the protection of Israel. A little bit of an inversion, right, on the whole anti-Semitism theme,
right.
And that's certainly an angle. That's certainly an incentive, I would say. So yeah, that is a good insight on his part there for sure. Once again, I think these things kind of move together. But even though there's no video from inside any of these shows, since he has a real crackdown, it's good that the word got out about that.
Yeah. Chappelle, after his first couple specials, like the last few have been pretty weak, frankly. But he's a great observer of the social scene. His commentary is always incisive and always thought-provoking. You don't have to agree with everything that he says, but I think when you see something like that, the people who wanted to cancel him because of a disagreement about a gender ideology that sprung into the public mind 10 minutes ago, and is now rapidly being discredited, shows you exactly why censorship is out of bounds. The crowds move in all kinds of directions. The crowds are prone to mass hysteria and mass moments of trends that they later disavow. You cannot put that power into the hands of the whims of the population, because what they want to censor today will be what they're embracing tomorrow, or what they celebrate today they'll disavow tomorrow. You just have to have a blanket standard of no censorship.
Yes, indeed. And it's funny because that whole space Jews joke would lend you to believe that he sees Israel as a colonizer state. So it was kind of weird when I heard rumors that he was not
right. It was very strange. Cause. And look, that was it. He's been called out on that on that bit too that he said about, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a good joke.
Where he talked about basically Jews controlling Hollywood without saying Jews, and at the end, and there are these people controlling it, whoever they are.
Right.
I thought that was very funny. That was very gutsy. That was very ballsy. We can't have a world where people are not allowed to make jokes like that. Right. I know Ryan, when we interviewed him on the Jimmy Dore show, Ryan Long, his take was basically that this is a small number of people, like you can do your thing. And I think that's true. I think, Seinfeld got a lot of blowback actually on his whole thing about, complaining that you can't do comedy anymore. And look, Chappelle, in the end, he didn't even get taken off Netflix, right?
No.
It's a small minority of people, and you have a few incidents where like somebody got forced off stage at a show at a college, right? But most comedy audiences, because most people don't buy into that shit, so most comedy audiences are there for it, and that's all that really matters, right?
Yes, and the ultimate flex as a comic is to do what Bill Burr told Bill Maher. This was a few years ago when he was on his show. He says, you just ignore it. The ultimate flex is to ignore it. If you're Jerry Seinfeld and you're a billionaire comic and you're going
Bill Burr
around,
said that also about Seinfeld. Yeah,
you're going around bitching to interviewers about how the college kids won't laugh at your jokes. I mean, it just looks so weak. And Seinfeld does that, Bill Maher does that. Just go tell your jokes. And on the on the rare occasion where an audience is too uptight to appreciate it, all right, so that's not your crowd. That's not your crowd, and they get the message that they won't come. Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, exactly. The ultimate flex is to just do your thing, ignore it, and trust that your audience will find you. And in the case of the good comics, they most of the time do, right? That's not to say everybody blows up and becomes the next Richard Pryor or George Carlin, but if you got chops, you can work as a comic, or, Dave Chappelle, obviously, superstar. Not everybody's going to reach that level. But if you got chops, you will find an audience that appreciates
look at Ryan.
It. Yeah,
Ryan built his audience through the height of cancel culture. He's dropping videos about, fashion models who only photograph morbidly obese women. At the height of that, he was dropping those videos.
Right.
And he's done just fine as far as I can see. So,
Exactly. So the ultimate flex is to just keep on plowing ahead. All right, Blanco SoCal, a Nazi Scientologist, can't say that one, and a Satanist walk into a bar. What did they invent NASA? Jack Parsons, Walt Disney, Walter Van Buren, L. Ron Hubbard, Operation Paperclip. Thank you, Blanco SoCal. Thanks. First time seeing you here, I believe. Big Gator Caesar, Russ and Keaton, could you please get Pepe Escobar as a guest? We'll add that to the pile. We got a pile this high of guest recommendations, but we'll put that on top. It'll be that high. Thank you, though. Appreciate that.
Our relations with the Medellin cartel are shaky right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Feminism was used to create more labor and consumer base in the name of women's rights. Then came the multi-billion-dollar daycare industry, capitalism. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
It's an interesting take.
Interesting take right there, my friend. Thank you. Okay. Happy Memorial Day, friends, from McDougal. Hey, we were wondering if McDougal would show up this evening. Your favorite member of the MAGA delegation checking in. Did you guys happen to see our President Trump roast the Libertarians hard last night? There will not be another Trump. We did. You filed in a little late, but we did that first. So thank you very much here. Jake, if I missed the super chat, please do put it up on a screen. Thank you. I was at the LP convention, the most uncivil, delusional people I have ever seen. My cats can organize a better convention than these bozos. Thank you, Movie Mask. Appreciate that. All right, so Jake, that'll be our plan moving forward. Segment is over when Keaton says indeed, indeed. Yes, that's our cut. Yes, that's my cut. That's when I would make movies. Rather than yell cut, I would just yell indeed.
Indeed.
All right. Indeed. Let's take it from the top.
Very well said.
Well said. Yeah, well done. Very good. That's what I should say.
Very good.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, so Jake, while this video plays, that's a good system. You flag them, and I'll flag the super chats, and then if I miss one, just let me know and throw it up on the screen. That's a good system. And then we'll email these bastards after the show. Alrighty. Thank you, Jake. Okay. All right. We're on to the main event this evening, folks. So I'll have Russell set this up.
Okay, so you might have heard very famously that Trump's people hate the press. They're suspicious of the press. But everyone was really nice and friendly to me. And I figured out later on why. Because at the beginning, you could see my backpack. And once I got into the crowd, I actually had a little scuffle with some Trump people who, saw my press pass and complained about me standing there. And I had an old woman who was like obsessed with every word I said. I heard her asking people, what did he say? What did he say? Very suspicious of me as press. But it was so different from how I had been treated at the beginning. And I realized I took off my backpack when I went into the crowd, and they wouldn't have been able to see it anyway, but everyone could see my backpack earlier. So really it's Keaton's father who made me so acceptable in spite of my press badge. On this badge,
there you go,
I have my Jail Biden button. So that explains why I had such access. to interviews. Everyone was very happy to talk to me and be interviewed. So it was quite a scene. After we show the footage, I will get more into my observations of what I saw. It was a very diverse crowd for a Trump rally. It was a very white crowd for the Bronx. A lot of people came in from where you would expect: Staten Island, Long Island, New Jersey. You got a lot of that. But hey, man, you did have people from the Bronx. You did have a fair amount of Latinos and African Americans, again, for a Trump rally, not for the Bronx. Like, for that rally to have been representative of the Bronx, it would have been mostly black and brown.
Right.
And it was not. So let's not get it twisted. Like, yeah, man, it was diverse for a Trump rally. Now, that having been said, as I'll get into after we watch it, I have long said people who think the Trump movement is a racist movement don't understand it. That's not the sense I got. Everyone's very happy to see black and brown people at a Trump rally. Nobody's there going, God damn it, what are they doing there? Right? That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. Now, I do feel that there are fascist overtones to Trump's appeal and to his rhetoric. I think we are so conditioned to the German idea of what that looks like that we assume that racism must be a part of an authoritarian fascist kind of an impulse. But, you know, they say socialism with Chinese features, right? Socialism with Venezuelan features. But they usually don't say that with fascism, but they should. What would an American fascism look like? I mean, for one thing, they're anti-war for the most part. That makes sense. Traditionally, we've had an isolationist streak where we want to be on our continent and fuck everybody else. That's very American. It makes sense that if you had that kind of a movement within America, that's the form it would take, that it wouldn't really be this expansionist, Lebensraum kind of a movement. None of this is to say, well, so get out there and vote for Biden, kids. He's great. It's, that's another thing that kind of history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. It's the failure of the liberal class that has created such a desperation in people that they would turn to somebody who you have described him this way. And I never really paid enough attention to really watching him to come up with this kind of analysis. But yeah, he's Cartman. He's Cartman.
Yeah.
He is very much like Cartman. He lies constantly, and watching him close up doing it was very interesting. Like, just watching like a bullshitter just bullshit like he breathes. Yeah, a woman passed out. You'll see it in the footage. A woman passed out. He goes, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Some people waited out there for 2 days. Fucking waited out there for 2 days. I walked right in and got 2 rows back from
Russell was there at noon. He was front row.
You were waiting for 2 days. And he does that shit constantly. And he also, Hunter Thompson, he described, the American dream in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, something to the effect of, the vision of emerging from the smoky room in the pre-dawn light, a winner humping the American dream. Trump very much plays to that American impulse. But you see him, and I kept some of that in because I really want you to see that. He'll get lost in a spot, and he'll just be like, "Yeah, we're winners. We're all winners. We're winners. We're like he really." That's really what he's pumping. He really understands that element of the American id, and he really pushes it, and he really rides it. Obviously, I don't go there and see, these crowds are evil and they're racist. No, man, I think they're naive and they're gullible. And it's the flip side. I would say the same thing about people going to see Joe Biden thinking Joe Biden's going to fix their lives. It's the flip side. It's very foolish to think that these people are going to really do anything for you or particularly care about you or really going to solve your problems, that these people are going to fix the system that produced them, the failed system that tossed these up as your options. They are symptoms of a sick society, whether you're talking about Joe Biden or whether you're talking about a hustler like Donald Trump, or you're talking about an old legit racist like Biden. I mean, anybody who goes after Trump with the racism thing. I mean, if you're voting for Joe Biden, I've always said that. I don't know how you could even talk about that if the person you're voting for is Joe Biden. But at the end of the day, this whole system is just a freak show. Trump's a freak show. Biden's a freak show. It's all a freak show. Do I, especially because a rally like this in New York City is going to attract people who are basically my people with the days and the no's. And, these are very familiar kind of people to me, the kind of people I grew up around, very working class, Queens, Staten Island, Flushing, Long Island kind of people. So, I don't have an antipathy. I think that they're getting hoodwinked. And I feel the same way about anyone who's still voting for Biden. But I'm just saying there are no good options. I think that is why we say we're post-duopoly, right? We don't support Biden, but this didn't change my views of Trump or why people follow Trump, but I definitely got a deeper insight into what's going on there. So we'll talk more about it after.
Yes, indeed. And I'll just say, for YouTube's sake, the purpose of this was to document a significant news event. We do not endorse all statements made here, especially the ones where people say things that are wrong about certain things they're not supposed to be wrong about. None that are in violation of current rules, or so they say. But just as a cover our ass, we're just reporting. This is just news reporting. This is documentary news reporting. We do not endorse necessarily any statements made over the course of the next
just
hour.
Old-time journalism.
Yeah, just old-time journalism.
Old-time, on-the-ground journalism.
Old-time, on-the-ground journalism. That's right. All right, folks, sit back and relax. This is a feature-length piece here. This is the lion's share of our show tonight. We will be back with our patron scroll, our super chats, and a little bit of a talk back afterwards. And then we do have a Q&A tonight on Rumble. Remember that.
This is, just so you know, there's an hour, 3 minutes.
Yes, so this is taking some time. This is the main piece of the evening. We hope you all enjoy. We will mute up full screen. We will see you in 1 hour with super chats, more thoughts, and our patron shout out, and then Q&A on Rumble after the show tonight. Remember that. Enjoy, everybody.
What we are calling BRAGA, the Bronx MAGA Rally. And as you can see, quite a lot of red hats here. Quite a lot of red hats, although those were popular in the Cultural Revolution, so they might be Maoists.
And we're not racist, and we're not against immigration. I married a Hispanic woman from South America, had a beautiful daughter with her, and she has 2 adult children that have been waiting 8 long years in Medellin, Colombia.
I heard some of Stormy Daniels' testimony. I find it hard to believe that Trump did not put it in her ass. Did you? Were you surprised?
I don't know about that, to be honest. I know that she's probably full of crap, though, because an interview she did with Bill Maher a bunch of years ago are not even matching up to what she's saying now in court in terms of how she's reacting to him now and how she was in the past. So
do you think she's lying? Do you think she had sex with Trump?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think she had sex with him?
I don't think so. I think the whole thing is just a con. All the stories are always fabricated. Nothing is always adding up. It's too coincidental about every single thing that they're trying to put on him, and nothing adds up. You look at these potential rape cases, that 83-year-old ugly-ass woman that he gave $80 million to. If you look at her, Trump would not have sex with her.
According to Trump, she has a cat named Vagina.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way, even if Trump was beyond acting as himself, that he would ever mess with a woman like that, even if it was 40, 50 years ago. Just wouldn't happen. This is that girl out of, I don't know if she's Tennessee or wherever she is.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee.
she's just nuts. And they're just trying to put everyone up against him because they know that, if they stop him, they control everything. But they're not going to stop him because God's at the helm here. And he's going to make everything great for us out here.
How are you? Oh my God! Apparently, George Santos has a lot of fans here. I gotta get to work. How are you, man? Good to see you. Absolutely. How are you? Sure. George, are you going to return to Congress?
Just about ready.
Not yet. How about the Senate?
No.
I gotta say, the people at the MAGA rally are more excited about George Santos than the people at the Cornell rally were about Cornell. That's just the truth. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. This for two dissidents. Are you a dissident?
No, but pro.
So why are you out here for Trump?
We love Trump. Him and Ronald Reagan.
Long Island is Trump country. Whatever people want to tell you, don't listen to them. It really is Trump country. And we all know that Lee Zeldin won the election, but of course they stole it, so now we've got this idiot Hochul as our governoress, or whatever you want to call her.
Yeah, she's kind of an accidental governor.
Yeah, she is an accidental governor, yes.
Do you think 2020 was stolen?
100%. Hola, amigos!
Oh, I love your Santos.
We love Santos. We love Santos. We love Santos. We love Santos. We love Santos.
That the Democrats and rhinos got him off office because he was doing the job with the people. And I really want to commend you because you did a wonderful job. Well, God bless you, and I hope you run for office again. He's starting today. He's making his debut.
Do you think he can actually win the Bronx?
Yes, because of what they've been doing here in the Bronx and how they have been letting them flounder and squander and not taking care of their districts. You're going to see people getting tired of the stupidity that is the current government administration for the Bronx.
All right, now why do you support Trump? What is it about him?
What's it about Trump? Trump's Superman. Trump's Batman. Trump's everything we need right now because our country is in the toilet. And that's because of, not thankfully, to Joe Biden and the Obama administration. Because all this is an extension of Obama. We all know that. So this would be technically Obama's third term because Joe's just a puppet. We all know that. Look at how long he had Susan. Pardon me.
All right.
Dry throat. I left my sucking candies home. Look at how long we've had Susan Rice in the White House with Joe Biden for the first 2.5 years. Why was she there? There was no need for her. Well, that's because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing because he is actually suffering from Alzheimer's, as we all know.
Do you think Donald Trump's too old? Because he's not much younger than Biden.
Donald Trump has got it together. Donald Trump is what, 75, 74?
I think so, yeah. I think he's 74.
74, okay? So he's 74 years old, but he's got the mind and the acuity of probably a 35-year-old. The man is intelligent. The man doesn't sleep. He's constantly looking for what's best for us, America. And that's what needs to come first. America first. Make America great again.
So what do you think he'll do with a second term?
I hope he hangs, pardon me, I hope he tries everyone for treason first.
Be careful, there's going on
yes,
YouTube.
Yes. I hope he tries everybody for treason first. And the first few set of necks I'd like to see up for grabs would be Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and good old Chucky Boy Schumer. We want to see them all go to trial for treason because they are a treasonous lot, all of them. I don't think that's going to happen, and that's the sad part, is that these people need to pay for their crimes, and that's important.
What treason do you feel they committed?
Treason against the country. They're selling us out. They're trying, look at what they're doing to our veterans, okay? Our veterans are being kicked out of their living environments so they can put illegal immigrants into their housing environment. They're giving them money to the illegal immigrants here in the United States, specifically here in New York. Look at what Adams had to do. He had to put an embargo on the buses coming in because he had no place to put them.
Right.
They're overflooding all of the sanctuary cities, and New York is one of them. And South Bronx isn't going to take it anymore. They're tired of this. They want to.
Why do you think they haven't taken control of the border? Because I've said on my show, the idea that a country with the military that we have cannot close the border is absurd on the face of it. So why do you think that
Joe
this is
Biden
being allowed?
And Obama and that whole ilk think that they're going to bring in a new undercurrent of constituents for themselves, just like they did back in the 20s, the early 1900s, when my great-grandparents came over. They were promised, they were given jobs, they would have a place to stay, and they'd be given money if they voted Democrat. And so the Jewish community has been promised all of this, and for some reason, to this day, several Jewish communities still vote Democratic, and all they're doing is getting smacked and kicked around. Look at what Biden's doing to Israel right now. He's withholding ammunition. He's withholding all kinds of munitions of any kind right now because he doesn't want a bloodbath in the Gaza Strip. But he's not supporting Israel like he should be. And Trump unconditionally will support Israel 100%. And we know that just by him moving the consulate into Jerusalem the way he did in his first term. There's going to be a lot more coming, and Donald Trump is going to make it happen.
Now, do you feel that the crackdown on student protesters violated their freedom of speech?
No, not at all, because they violated my freedoms by taking control of a university they had no business coming to. You've got these people that are paid advocates. We know that they were paid advocates. They even broadcast it on the news. Fake news actually covered it for some reason. I'm surprised. We know George Soros is behind most of it, or his ilk. And now you got Alex Soros Jr. coming into play. And with all that being said, I don't think they're going to get away with it this time. I think that people have woken up, and I hate to use the term woke up, but people have finally come to the realization, which is a much better term, that Trump's been right all along. And he did in 2020.
But what about that time we're supporting him?
Oh, we love our trolls. Our trolls are great.
Michael, you want some attention. You're desperate. I understand. Here's the problem. The cameras are not here for you, buddy. They're here for me. So can you please let me do my job and then you can do yours? I never supported your... Yeah, no, I didn't. You're a troll.
No, you're wrong.
He gave us full support. Let's go ahead and continue to this.
You are not the person that have been indoctrinated by the radical left and the Democrats.
That's not
Do your research.
Say you're sorry.
But you are welcome to have your opinion.
Support George Santos.
Please,
Get it right. The fake media. Find Republican candidates. Find Republican congressmen.
The media is the enemy of the people. The media is the enemy of the people.
And this woman here speaks
the
fire.
Media is the the people know. He paid for his education, but he paid. He knows he's indoctrinate people.
Al Sharpton used to be buddies with Trump. What do you think changed?
You are from the Upper East Side.
Yes, Upper East Side.
All right. Well, there are a lot of Trump supporters on the Upper East Side?
There are a lot of Trump supporters on the Upper East Side. There are a lot of Trump supporters in the city of New York, in Manhattan.
I'll be back. So it's like an underground population.
Well, there are many of us who do not like what's going on, and we're out here supporting Trump.
And what don't you like about what's going on?
Where do we start? Let's see. The fake trial, the bail reform, the crime, the crooked president that's in office that can't even speak, the millions of illegals that are pouring into our country. This president should be in jail for treason. The American people are unsafe. Inflation is through the roof. Nobody's happy, but they hate Trump. People that are voting for Biden just hate Trump so bad they won't vote for him.
Right.
We love Trump. I think he's amazing, right? She's been to many rallies. This is my first rally, and we just support him. And his policies are amazing. He's honest. He's honest. He works for everybody in the country, and we need him back. He's a New Yorker, and we need him back. This country's going down a bad path.
Now what policies did he have his first term that you liked?
Deportation, saving of the border. He definitely felt he put America first. He was respected on the world stage. We're not respected anymore. We're left at. Okay. The people running China and all the other communist countries and everyone who has a problem with Biden, they were all able to sit down at the
World
table
peace,
with Trump. There was
the
world
Abraham
peace.
Accords.
Right.
We had a very secure border. We lowered taxes. Every single demographic was doing better under Trump than they are now.
Every demographic. From blacks to whites to greens to purple, everyone. And we were safer.
Okay, so let me ask you. They always say president's power is kind of limited with the economy. With what happened with COVID, do you think Biden is responsible for the inflation?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And here's why: is because after when we were out of COVID, then they passed all these huge spending bills, and so I do think he's responsible for it.
Just like the college bill that he's passing now for all of taxpayers should be.
Why should someone that didn't go to college have to pay
billions and
billions? They're
of
trying
dollars?
to buy votes. I mean, it's first of all,
Clear.
the Supreme Court ruled against it, and he's still giving out money. He's trying to buy votes. It's ridiculous.
And what do you think Trump will do if he comes in to bring the inflation under control?
Well, Trump doesn't need to buy votes. That's first off, and
I think
he's a
that
businessman.
I think he's a businessman, and I also think that he'll open up our American energy again.
We shouldn't be reliant on Iran for energy, or anybody else in the Middle East for that matter.
Or Venezuela.
We've turned into a third world country. If you walk around
and
the
also
streets,
also he'll cut back on the regulations, open up the free market,
and put sanctions
and stop
back.
Paying people to stay home and not work.
We become a dumbed down country with people with no ethics for work, don't want to work because the government's paying them. When our grandparents came from another country here many, many, many years ago, they worked hard and they had to be sponsored to come to this country, and they were proud to hold the American flag. What you see now is a disgrace. It's disgusting.
I also think that there's a huge misconception that if you're black or you're Hispanic, that you automatically hate Trump. And I know a lot of people who are both black and Hispanic that are very supportive of him. And I know many people that have come here and immigrated here and waited in line, and they're furious about what's going on right now. That all these people are coming, and I mean, I it's ridiculous. We have vets that are homeless in the street, and we have just people that with mental health issues that are homeless, and we could be supporting them, and instead we're letting tens of millions of people into our
that
country.
are roaming the city. They're roaming. We live in the city. They're roaming around. Illegal mopeds everywhere, filth everywhere, crime everywhere.
Sorry,
So do you think that's why Donald Trump is making so many gains with non-white voters?
People are fed up.
I think the reason he's making gains with non-white voters is because in hindsight they're looking back at what it's been like in the last 3 years, and they're realizing that life was better in the economically life was better under Trump.
The Democrats haven't helped black and Spanish people out since Obama, since Clinton. And now
They've never. What do you mean
never,
since? They have never.
Right, exactly. Never helped the Democrats have never. They just talk.
They try to get people on social programs so they become dependent on the government instead of having pride and working. I mean, I'm not saying that all these demographics are reliant on social programs. What I'm saying is those that are the Democrat Party, they want to keep you down because that's how they stay in power. And I think a lot of people are waking up to that.
Yeah, and that's what all these millions of
at least I hope so.
But they're going to be future Democrat voters, and they change the laws around to suit their needs, just like the courts with Trump right now.
We love you. We got your back. I'm sorry you're being persecuted. They want to throw you in jail for the rest of your life. Alvin Bragg is disgraceful. The Bronx DA here, Marcia Clark of the Bronx, is disgraceful. Eric Gonzalez in Brooklyn is disgraceful DAs, rogue DAs. Failure to prosecute federal crime. Donald will bring jobs back to New York City. He will close the border. He will ship the immigrants, the illegals back. And just so you know, we don't have anything against migration. Donald and I are for legal migration. I married an immigrant Colombian woman whose 2 adult children have been waiting 8 long years in Medellin, Colombia for their interview. And these migrants have trampled them on the border, and it's just not fair. You give them handouts, and the people that did things the right way, like all of our grandparents, you give them the short end of the stick. Donna, we love you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I want people to understand that this is not about President Trump.
This is about Donald Trump.
We the people.
We the
President
people.
Trump doesn't need to go through all this nonsense.
And Donald
With
Trump.
all the wealth
All right,
that he has to be
George,
enjoying
we're
his life.
ready for a
And he's
break.
putting the fight for us.
Thank
for
you so
we
much.
The people.
Thank
so
you for-
remember,
thank
this
you
is
for
not about
being here.
President Trump. It's about we the
Donald
people.
Trump is going to
and the
turn
United
New
States
York
of
red.
America.
New
that is
York
being
red.
destroyed
All right.
by
New
the
Jersey
Democrats
red.
and the radical
Donald Trump is going to
evil
turn
man
it
and
red.
All right, we love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you.
going to take a quick break, and we'll be
For the
back
one
with
who
you guys
played the president.
very soon. Thank you.
Good
job, George.
I freaking love you guys. I freaking love you guys.
He's the only president that is for the people. He's not a deep state lifer.
Do you feel Joe Biden is?
Listen, that man's been lying since he got into politics 50 years ago. He hasn't stopped a day in his life.
This is true. But right now, he's just a
Puppet.
behind the wheel.
Yep.
All right. So do you think if Trump gets in, that they're just going to thwart anything that he wants to do? That deep state is going to stop him from really changing anything?
Well, how much he got done more than any other president in 4 years with everybody fighting him tooth and nail. So do I think he's going to have a better pick and smart about who he's going to put in there? Absolutely. And he'll get it done.
What did he do that you like?
Energy independence, a safe border. I was able to afford my oil, my gas, my food.
So inflation is a lot of it.
Everything. The border.
Short and simple. He said something and he did it.
That's right. Promises made, promises kept.
Is murder legal today?
Excuse me, excuse me, don't murder a female kangaroo because all she gets she only gives birth to baby jellies. Excuse me.
But George Santos supports NAMBLA. Fuck him.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Chuck E. Cheese.
What's up?
Okay, my friend's head is in the wheelchair and I'm here.
Oh, she's over there. I love her.
Yeah, well, there's.
Oh, not that one?
No, my friend over there.
I'll go say hi.
Yeah. He likes to do interviews. Please, thank you.
South Korean Japanese. We need to reorganize this. How chaotic. You got screwed. How many more? Peter.
The front.
You live in the area?
I do. Live up the street.
You live up the street? All right. There are a lot of Trump supporters here in the Bronx.
Are there a lot? No, man. But listen, it's growing. The support is growing. At least I can say, at least for me, my family, and some of my homies, some of my friends, we want Trump. We want Trump. I would say the Caribbean community, people from Jamaica, Trinidad, like myself, we are all legal immigrants. We paid our dues. We waited our 10 years. We stayed out of the criminal justice system. Also, we can get that valued U.S. citizenship. So we're very much against all the illegal immigrations happening in the southern border that's pouring into the Bronx and New York City and America. So that's why I'm out here, to show that strong support, even though there are not a lot of MAGA supporters in New York. I feel that I have to show that support.
All right, so you'd say immigration is your main issue?
Immigration by far, at least, my personal issue. That and the economy. The economy sucks right now. Gas prices are crazy. You ever try getting a hotel room in the city lately?
Not lately.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything is expensive. Everything's expensive. Summertime, if you look at you think the crime is bad now here in this area, just wait till the summertime where all these dudes from Africa and everywhere else have nothing else to do but just stay outside when it's warm, and there are other potential victims walking around. I predict the crime is going to explode even more so just over the summer.
Over the summer?
Over the summer, absolutely. Absolutely it is.
And you feel that? Okay, so you immigrated here legally, or your family did? You
Yeah,
immigrated
me,
there.
I came here. I was born in Trinidad, Tobago. I came here in 04. So I've been in the States, man. It's a beautiful country. Everyone wants to come here. I don't blame the illegals for wanting to come here, but it's a proper country, and with a country, you gotta be vetted, no? You have to be vetted. They gotta make sure you're not a criminal. You have to make sure you're not a terrorist or some weirdo that doesn't vibe with the community at large, with the other Americans here. It just makes sense. I'm not sure where on planet Earth you expect to just walk in somewhere, plant your flag, and expect to be given things. It doesn't work that way. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with just common sense.
So why do you think Donald Trump has all these criminal cases against him? Do you think he's guilty?
I don't think he's guilty. Even if he was, I would still vote for him. But I personally think it's politically motivated, especially this one here up here in New York, where there are too many factors. Joe Biden's excuse me for losing my words here, but his administration, Joe Biden's administration, has his hands in too many places in that Trump trial. For one, look at the judge's daughter. She's involved heavily with the DNC, making money, and making money for the DNC and raking in money herself. You have one of the guys from Biden's administration, I believe, somewhere along the Justice Department. He upped and decided to come here in the city and work, take a pay cut. It's just too much coincidence. There's too many things involved for.
So you feel like it's rigged?
I feel it's 100% rigged. Look at the guy, Alvin Bragg, our DA, who ran to put Trump in jail. I think that should be illegal. I don't think someone should be out there running to convict another citizen. I think there should be a presumption of innocence, and for politicians, because that's what Alvin Bragg is at this point, he's a politician, and he campaigned on locking up another U.S. citizen and have other people vote for that prosecution. I don't think that's right. I think that's going around the rule of law, and I don't think that's justice at all. This whole case is bogus. It should have never been brought. The only reason why they brought it is for the election, to keep Trump off the campaign and to sully his name in the court of public opinion. That's the only reason why. They want to drag his name, they want to get it so dirty, so the undecided voter, the first thing when they hear Donald Trump, they want to associate him with all these bogus cases. That's why they brought it. I don't blame him. Joe Biden is hemorrhaging supporters, right?
Right.
He's losing supporters everywhere. I don't blame him for getting desperate and going through this desperate tactic, but that's what it is. It's a desperate tactic that should have never been brought. I think he should fight fairly and improve his policies and try to get votes the old-fashioned way.
I'm half Irish. That's the only reason I drink.
I'm married, that's the reason I drink.
There you go. That's a good reason. Better than mine.
Hey, hats and flags, hats and flags.
You got any Biden hats?
No.
All right.
I found one on the ground, I laid it on flags.
Let you give me $2 and one.
Hey, hats and flags, hats and flags.
They will let you in with the flags. They will let you in with the flags. That's a weapon right there.
But you know what you do afterwards, after the rally, you stand out there and sell them.
Yeah.
Because they don't let you in with them.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Hey, hats and flags, hats and flags.
Hi, he's my man. That's the man we gotta vote for Trump.
Why do you support Trump?
Because he's honesty, real, and he loves God. That's what I like more.
All right, now you just said, if I can repeat it,
Then number one, Jesus, and then Trump?
Yes.
All right, why do you feel that way? Do you feel Jesus endorses Trump?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Yeah?
Yes. He's with him. Yes. He's my man. He make a lot of miracles in my life. And I like Trump because he loved the Bible. He want to put the prayer back in the street. That's why there's so many delinquents in the street.
What's Trump's favorite Bible verse?
You got me there.
I think he said Corinthians 2. He says the whole ball game. I could be wrong. I think he said Corinthians 2. He says the whole ball game. So what policies of Trump's do you like?
Everything.
Everything? What did you like that he did in his first term?
Say that again?
What did you like in his first term?
First?
Yeah, when he was president, what did you like that he did?
Oh. What I like, because his honesty. That's what I like about him, his honesty.
What do you think about Joe Biden?
Oh, no. He's a demon. And I could say that everywhere I go, and I don't care. Okay? He's a demon. He needs help. He better resign and go to senior hospital.
6. Well, it's already 3 o'clock, right?
Single file line.
I gotta say, not for nothing, we don't see a lot of shirts like that, man.
Well, we need to see more of these shirts.
All right, can you explain why you are, I'm assuming, a lesbian for Trump? I don't want to assume.
Yeah, you shouldn't assume anything.
You never know.
Why am I a lesbian for Trump?
Landslide.
Because I'm a lesbian and I'm for Trump. I don't know. Let's see. Because I love my guns and I don't want them taken away from me.
All right.
I like the old America that I grew up in. I'm a patriot. I was in the military. My family has got a history of military background. I don't like what the libtards stand for. They want to take all of our rights away from us. They want us to live in little tiny cubby holes and eat bugs and be happy.
And you're against conversion therapy. You don't want you don't want boys in your girls' locker rooms.
Oh well, yeah. Just because I'm a lesbian doesn't mean that I want boys in the girls' locker rooms. I don't want that. That's another thing. I don't want my grandchildren to have their sex organs taken off without their parents' permission. That's another thing I'm against.
And you don't want to be called a bigot if you don't like a biological man that's masquerading as a woman.
I mean, I've got a son. I've got 4 grandsons. I love men. I'm a lesbian, but I love men.
Awesome.
And we need them. Yeah. I don't. Right. Yeah. Hoorah.
Go Trump.
Hoorah. Go Trump.
No. I dance with women. Oh. Trump. Yes. We love Trump. 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 Save your voice for later, bro. The music went off. So I did that, but the music went off. And they put it right.
I need a fucking drink. They don't even have to pick enough. They have to tie it.
Yeah, man, just let it go. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Trump supporters don't do this shit, man. Agreed. We don't do this shit. I agree. That's what they want. Yeah, man. Home of the brave! Land of the free! Home of the brave.
The way it was picking, that was
One with
sort of being
Listen,
you're looking at it. Yeah, I'm a huge channel on Telegram, and I do a lot of investing. I have American-made products. I just do this, and I just go to where I'm called, man. My faith in God is very strong.
You got a good vibe.
Yeah, people say different things about me. They say, so what I'm called on. I'm sorry, man. People call me a master manifester, so I can just think of something to do it, and then they call me a ultimate conduit, and like 2 of my admins were wheelchair bound. One of my admins on my channel was had something called scleroderma where she was dying, and now she's up walking around.
There's counter protesters outside right there. I'm sorry to tell you, I think you guys are counter protesting in the wrong place because there ain't no safe spaces here in the Bronx, is there? That's right. So I gotta tell you, I've spent the last month in court every single day with President Donald Trump. And I have witnessed the persecution through prosecution that our 45th president and 47th president is going through on a daily basis. Donald J. Trump has put New York on the table, and New York is going to go for Trump on November 5th, 2024. And I'll let President... You know, Babe Ruth, legend, Garrick DiMaggio, Mantle, the Pope, certainly the Pope, a legend, Muhammad Ali, Derek Jeter, the captain, I love him. I met my wife at the game that Derek Jeter got his last hit. That's true. But there's one thing that Donald Trump is going to do that none of those could ever do. He's going to make America great again. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God bless America. God bless New York. God bless the Bronx, and God bless Donald J. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Madeline Brame.
Faggot, and I'm a gay man. Can we have him removed? Can we have him removed? That guy right there. He's calling me a faggot, and I'm a gay man. That guy right there. I don't play that right there.
God bless America!
Faggot is a hateful word.
Not everybody here is.
I will take my hatred out on him.
Beautiful sight
Call me a faggot for holding the sign up.
AOC, eat your heart out. Richie Torres, eat your heart out. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alan Dershowitz. I am the CEO
I got it on video.
LLC. I am also the state director of Blexit, New York.
You gonna take this girl out too? Because she'll take your eyes out.
USA. Unfortunately, I am also the mother of a homicide victim. Sergeant Hassan Correa was killed in Harlem in 2018 by 4 people he did not know, nor had he done them any harm. Hassan was stabbed to death by these 4 people. All 4 were apprehended. The case was handled in Manhattan District Attorney's Office when Alvin Bragg took office in 2020. Boom! 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 How many of you out there are lifelong Democrats who have walked away from the plantation of the Democratic Party and are now voting Republican because of the way that we were neglected and ignored and pushed to the side? Our communities, especially poor minority communities. Let me make this clear. When I say poor, I mean black, white, Hispanic, Jewish, Asian. All of us are in this together. Italian, all of us are in it. All of us are getting together. All right? This is not a black issue. This is not a white issue. This is not a Democratic issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is a human issue. We got severe poverty in the Bronx. We got unemployment. We got crime. We got failing schools. We got dilapidated housing.
You're right.
We got abortion clinics on every damn corner.
looking for Donald Trump to deliver for our community.
He's done it already.
To make the major investments.
He's done it already.
Let's replace the drugs and the guns with hammers and nails and drills and steel workers. Use our young men. Use our young men that are involved in the criminal justice system to rebuild the housing.
We pro-gun.
Use them, pay them decent salary so they can afford to take care of their children and their family and help lift us up out of poverty.
We're pro-gun.
Keep your welfare. We don't want your welfare. We want jobs. Paying jobs. Decent paying jobs. Educational opportunities. Initiatives that'll help our young men avoid incarceration.
Yes.
Stop letting them go back in the street to commit more crime.
Yes.
Put real initiatives in place that will save their lives. Sometimes jail, sometimes people are not arrested, they're rescued. So when we continuously have this revolving door, we're actually setting our young men and women up to be killed, to kill themselves or someone else.
The prison industry complex. The prison industry complex.
This is a serious conversation. This ain't no joke.
That's right.
There are lives, human lives. Human lives.
Real people
that are dead. I look at my refrigerator right now. My refrigerator is empty.
What about the illegal?
Because I decided to do my laundry.
What about
then we
the
have
illegal?
illegals flooding our borders.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coming into our communities, sucking up the resources that we already barely have.
That's right.
Why should we allow this to happen? Every last person here needs to rise up and get fighting mad.
Amen.
Get fighting mad. And make sure that you're registered to vote and go out there and you vote up and down the line, not just the presidency.
Amen.
The local elections are more important than the presidency.
MAGA. Vote
Get
MAGA.
rid of AOC.
Vote MAGA.
Vote her ass out.
Vote that detail.
Get rid of Richie Torres. Vote his ass out.
Yes.
I have nothing to lose.
That's right.
So I can stand up here and I can say this.
That's
None
right.
of you here are paid to be here.
That's right.
She got on color TV this morning and said that Trump busted these people and paid everyone out here.
Bullshit.
Who here got paid to be here today?
Donald Trump paid.
Are you here because you know that this is the time in history that you're in the right place at the right time and you need to be here.
Listen, the word is that Donald J. Trump's going to be here in a couple of minutes.
Whoa!
That's the word. And so I think it's really important right now to let all of New York know that the Bronx is now MAGA country.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. USA! Brian, right over here, Brian. Come on, baby. Oh, nice.
Let me tell you this.
We got foul mouths in New York. We're foul. These ever-loving Democrats have lost their minds.
This is a family affair.
Let's go, Brandon.
This is for all of the people across our country. We say, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. They tell us that if you're Puerto Rican or Dominican or Peruvian or Venezuelan or any other nationality out of Latin America, that you can't be a conservative. That's what they tell us.
How about gay?
But I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
That's right, Bob. That's right.
And I know the conservative streak that is in the heart of New Yorkers.
That's right. That's right.
That's
And
right.
so we're going to do a really big thing in this country in 2024.
Get rid of Mike Johnson.
We're going to change politics. We're going to change the status quo. There are no racial votes in America anymore. There are American votes in America, and we are going to save the greatest country man has ever known.
Of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. This is some turnout. This is some turnout. And I want to thank New York's finest. They just brought a lot of additions. We have people, thousands of people outside that can't even get in, but they'll get in eventually. We appreciate it. New York's finest. Hello, New York City, and hello to all of the incredible, tough, strong, hardworking American patriots right here in the Bronx. I have come tonight to talk about solving problems. The simple fact is Joe Biden is not getting the job done for the Bronx. He's not getting the job done for New York, and he's not getting the job done for America. He is incompetent, ladies and gentlemen. He is grossly incompetent. I will get the job done as I did for 4 years, and I will get it done fast. And remember this, if a New Yorker can't save this country, no one can. I built the Grand Hyatt Hotel on 42nd Street and Park Avenue, and as part of that, I renovated the beautiful Grand Central Terminal, did a really good job of that, and then I was very much responsible for the construction of the Jacob Javits Convention Center, where Hillary Clinton was going to have her big evening. That was not good. Remember? We had the glass ceiling. You know, we built glass ceiling. She said, we're going to break the glass ceiling. And then you see what they want to do to us, to me, to us. Horrible. And they come along and they don't mind because Joe Biden is the worst president in the history of our country, has no sense, doesn't know what he's doing, grossly incompetent, and our country's going to hell, but we're going to turn it around. Yes, we are. Thank you! Because above all else, and I say this and I believe this on New York, is you are different. You do know that. Yeah, we're special! You know that when I called for this rally, we said, let's just have a meeting, don't call it a rally. And so many people showed up, I said, like it or not, this is a rally. As far as the eye can see, you have to see the lines outside, they're going for miles. But when we saw it and we saw the love, because I called up this morning, do the people like me or do they hate me? They said, they don't like you, sir, they love you. I appreciate it. And I love you too. 4 more years! 4 more years! 4 more years! Well, look at all the cameras back there. It's the fake news. We hate you! We hate you! You know, they'll say tonight, Donald Trump spoke to a very small crowd of people in the Bronx. It was a very hostile crowd. We love you. They hated him very much. They're still welcome here. Sometimes they're okay. We're going to make you very, very happy. And Biden can't do it. He doesn't know he's alive. You know, see all the stairs here? Stare, two of them behind me, one in the middle. When he's finished with his 2.5 minute, you know, do you ever watch his speech? They last for about 1.5 minutes. When he's finished with his speech, he can never find the stairs. He can never find the stairs. And when he does, it's not a pretty picture either. It doesn't matter whether you're black or brown or white or whatever the hell color you are, it doesn't matter. We are all Americans, and we're going to pull together as Americans. Real earnings for African Americans are down 5.6%. African Americans are getting slaughtered. Hispanic Americans are getting slaughtered. And these millions and millions of people that are coming into our country, the biggest impact and the biggest negative impact is against our black population and our Hispanic population, who are losing their jobs, losing their housing, losing everything they can lose. They're the ones that are affected most by what's happening. Not only the fact that you've lost the use of your schools, your parks, and your hospitals. Joe Biden's inflation.
Build the wall! 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 Send them back! Send them back! Send them back! Send them back!
We really have no choice. He said, send them back. There's a chance, send them back. Nobody wants to send anybody back, but you have no choice. This is not sustainable by any country, right? This is not sustainable. We had no wars. Thank you, sir. That's right. Remember Hillary Clinton used to point at me? He will create wars. No. They said his personality will create wars. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. And I was right. First president in 78 years that didn't start a war. We had no wars. None of these stupid wars. Such a shame. When you see all the people that died in these horrible wars in the Middle East and everything else, countries didn't want us, dropping bombs all over the place. Spent $9 trillion in the Middle East. We bombed the hell out of the place, then we leave. You know, the old days, to the victor belong the spoils. We don't do that. We bomb the hell out of everyone, then we come back home. It's so sick. It's so sick and so stupid. These people that led us are so stupid. You want to use that as a last resort. You can solve these problems with a meeting or with a telephone call. You don't have to drop billions of dollars worth of bombs on people's heads. You don't have to. Thank you. It's called peace through strength. That's really, it really is. There's no reason for it. And Iran, by us destroying Iraq, the military of Iraq, you know, for years they fought each other, and they were equal sizes, equal everything. They were equal military partners. And for 1,000 years under different names, they would fight, a religious thing. They'd fight, they'd go 5 feet left, 5 feet right, 5 feet left, 5 feet right. Somebody would say they have gas, somebody would say they have nuclear, then they'd rest for a few years, and they'd fight again. But we blew the hell out of one side, Iraq. So now Iraq is a subsidiary, essentially, of Iran. Congratulations to the geniuses that got us into that mess.
Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home!
And I tell you, I see a lot of flags from it right out of Israel, right? That's right out of Israel. But remember I said it a month ago, and it's a terrible thing to say, but I believe it. Many of the hostages that you're waiting for, and everybody's waiting for, those hostages, many of them are dead. Many of them are dead. And it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing, but many of those hostages are dead. And that's why when you see these negotiations where Hamas is like not getting back, they're saying, man, we could make a good deal, but these people are no longer alive. When I saw the way they were treated, when I saw they were thrown into the cars and how horribly they were treated, there's no way that those hostages, and some will be alive, but many of those hostages are dead. It's a very serious, horrible thing. It would have never happened if the election weren't rigged. It would have never happened if I were your president. It would have never done it. Because we have so many young people here today, I want to talk about, just for a moment, about success. Do you remember I used to give talks on success before politics? Okay, that's enough. We're going to do it. That's enough. I know you're on our side, but it's enough. We're going to get over it. It's a rough situation. But let's talk about, for the young people, just to listen for a couple of minutes, because we've been talking about politics so long. I'm OD'd. You know what that means? I'm OD'd on politics. I'm OD'd on Trump. I turn on the television. Trump, 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 Trump. All different sides. Trump. They're driving us crazy. You okay? You take your time, darling. Take your time, Doc. We have time. Some people waited here for 2 days. It's tough. That's right. It's tough. Thank you. Plenty of time. That's good.
By the dawn's early light,
Water.
what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight were so gallantly streamed. I love you! And the rock.
A terrible statistic. Venezuela was a very crime-ridden country. They just announced a month ago 67, but now they just announced 72% reduction in crime in Venezuela. In Caracas, they took their gang members, they took their drug dealers, they are emptying out their prisons. They're taking everybody that's a problem and they're dumping them into the United States of America. We're like a dumping ground. But many countries are doing that. I would say eventually all countries would be doing that. If I headed up Honduras, if I headed up any one of the countries that are neighboring or not neighboring, and we're not talking about just South America countries, we're talking about countries from Africa. The other day, 22, think of it, 22 people from the Congo. Where do you live? We came from jail. What did you do in jail? We don't want to tell you. They're now living happily. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from all over the world. They come from the Middle East. Yemen. We're bombing Yemen. Here we go with the bombs again. We're bombing Yemen. And people are coming in from Yemen. Large numbers of people are coming in from China. And if you look at these people, did you see them? They are physically fit. They're 19 to 25. Almost everyone is a male. And they look like fighting age. I think they're building an army. They had 29,000 people over the last... I think they're building... They want to get us from within. I think they're building an army. This is not... You know, it's interesting. Did you see them? They all have tents. They all have gas-fired stoves. I mean, this is not like an illegal immigrant. This is... They're building something. They have something in mind. They cannot stay. We will immediately begin the largest criminal deportation operation in our country's history because this situation is sustainable by no country. No country can sustain it.
Send them back! 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 Send them back!
They come up in what's called caravans. The women are treated horribly. They're being raped at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Nobody wants to talk about it. The fake news will report that, oh, it's so terrible what he said. But it's fact. In Brooklyn, American students at James Madison High School were recently told they had to stay at home from school so their classrooms could be turned into housing for thousands of migrants. Very simply, Joe Biden puts illegal aliens first. I put I I saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. So when we allow people from prisons, when we allow people from insane asylums and mental institutions, which are being emptied out all over the world, you know, their prison populations are going way down. You know why? Because they're being dumped into the United States. When we are allowing terrorists at numbers that we've never seen before, remember the snake. Remember the snake. Because you're going to get bitten like you never got bitten before. Since 2019, murders are up more than 20%, shootings are up more than 30%. I'm going to indemnify all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States to protect them from being destroyed by the radical left for taking strong actions on crime. And remember, Black, Hispanic, Asian people need this protection and safety more than anyone else. Don't ever forget it. And after years of talk by the radical left Democrats, we are going to give them the protection they need, and we're going to protect our police. We're going to make sure they do a great job. They can do it very quickly. They know who the bad guys are. They know everything about them. They know their name. They know their middle initial. We're going to insist that if a violent criminal murders a police officer, they receive the death penalty. It's going to be quick. But we're truly honored to be joined by a man who is a Democrat and a former member of the New York City Council, and he's been a friend of mine, and he helped me very much with the Ferry Point project and getting it working, and did a really good job. Ruben Diaz Sr. Come on up, Ruben.
I want to tell AOC, this morning, she intended to become a prophet. And she said, even God doesn't want Trump in the Bronx because it's going to rain. Madam Prophet AOC, you have become a false prophet. Look at what a beautiful day. That means that not only you guys want Trump in the Bronx, because if we're going to measure that with the weather, then I would say humbly that even God wants you in the Bronx. And I want to close by saying, Mr. President, I want to join you in having the Bronx great again. Please accept this Democrat, this black Puerto Rican with a kinky hair and a broken English. Please accept my endorsement for you as a president.
Thank you very much. How nice was that? I didn't expect that. Really? That was good. You know, it's always dangerous to do that. You never know what's going to come out. Maybe he'll change his mind coming up. But he doesn't change his mind. That man is a winner. Come on up, fellas. Rapper Sleepy Hollow.
You're always going to whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us. Make America great again.
teeth. I want to find out where you. I gotta get my teeth like that. We're gonna get out and vote like never before. We're gonna make it too big to rig. Our vote is going to be too big to rig. So one thing they can't guard against, working together, there is nothing we cannot do and no height we cannot achieve. Together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America great again. Thank you, Bronx. Thank you, New York. I love you. Thank you. God bless everybody. God bless you.
All right, everybody. Well, I got to unmute your microphone there. Russell's got to unmute
Well,
his mic. There he goes. Yeah.
Well, I'm sold.
Oh, look at that. Russell got a button.
Now I'm MAGA through and through after that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm putting that right next to my Bernie for Harlem button.
Hey, yeah, exactly. So, round of applause for Russell in the chat. That was a hard day's work in the hot sun. He had to camp out for 2 days to get in.
I had to camp out for 2 days. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. He had to camp out 2 days. He's lucky he didn't faint from dehydration.
They had the kebab carts were 40 blocks back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I really tried to capture the spirit of the thing in the cut, and really focusing a lot on the crowd. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. I think that a lot of the left look hopefully to the Trump contingent, feeling they're more reachable than the smug, self-satisfied liberals who gravitate to the Democrats. And they're not wrong about that. Like you could much more make an eat the rich appeal to this crowd than you're ever going to make that pitch to a DNC convention crowd. Absolutely.
Well, sure.
But
this crowd is unhappy. They're unhappy, so they're restless, right? The Democrats, the PMC liberals, they're happy. They don't want to make change.
They don't want
perfectly fine.
change.
Yeah.
They have no interest in change. They have no need for change.
Yeah.
If you look at what a lot of these people are talking about, they're talking about feeling like victims of the economy. Right. Now, what they're getting wrong is the notion that Donald Trump is going to fix any of that he's not a product of that system. There was, I didn't want to, this was long as it was. I am going to drop the whole rally. We are going to drop the whole rally if you want to see his extended remarks in this verite you are there style. But he gave a little lecture on success. He talks about, before I went into politics, I used to go to, I think he said the Learning Annex, which is pretty funny if that's the case. And I used to teach about success, and I would have done it for free. Yeah, I would have. Okay. So he starts talking about the secrets of success. Donald Trump, I will give him this. He definitely is qualified to impart the key secret of success in America. He was born rich. So in that sense, he could first get rich parents. Next.
Right.
The idea of a bunch of basically decent working people listening to this fucking con artist going on about the secrets of his success. How many times has he been bankrupt? 4, 5, 6. How many bankruptcies has he had? And that's starting in life with every advantage. How does casinos do? How about Trump University? It's amazing to me to see working people throw themselves behind somebody like this. And this is why it's all of a piece. You got people who like Trump will tend to like Elon. People who like Elon will tend to like Trump. It all goes together. It's this peasant mentality of bowing down to people who have status, have success, have wealth. And you're basically, there's this slavish impulse in humans to bow down and worship some big alpha male, generally male, let's face it, this big alpha male. And Trump really plays that to the hilt, because I didn't cut in a lot of it because I wanted to use things that people haven't necessarily heard him saying, and we've all heard him bragging ad infinitum, so I didn't feel like we really needed to hear him do that. But half the night was, yeah, and then I called Mexico and I said, if you don't do this, if you don't give us 28,000 soldiers by tomorrow, I'm gonna have a tax. I'm gonna have a tariff by Monday, and I've got a pen here. Are you gonna sign it? He said, we'd be very glad to do that. You see, when I was president, it's all that. It's all that. It's all that braggadocio. That appeals to people who are weak. I'm sorry, man. It appeals to people who don't have confidence, who don't feel strong in themselves. They feel like they got to follow somebody who talks like that. Now, I know we have a lot of people who like Trump in our crowd. And hey, man, if you thought this is the kind of party where I'm going to kick the shit out of Joe Biden every show, and then I'm going to go to a Trump rally and go, but some of the stuff he said, I actually kind of agree. You're at the wrong fucking party, and you should go. Okay, this is not that. This is not that party. You're welcome here, but I am telling you, I'm not a fucking show for anybody. And as I said, a lot of the people at that rally, people like where I came from, man, which I love those people. And that makes me more angry that they're being misled by this fucking gold toilet bowl con artist, just bragging. It's interesting. The aristocracy, one of the things they always found vulgar about the nouveau riche is that part of being an aristocracy was you were supposed to be trained in a certain way that you're supposed to carry yourself if you're powerful, noblesse oblige. And of course, I'm not promoting aristocracy, but Trump is an argument for aristocracy, because without a formal aristocracy, when you have out of control capitalism, you wind up with this vulgar Vegas style aristocracy, which is just as bad in a lot of ways, and in some ways worse, because there are no cultural restraints. There's no training that this person has undergone of how you're supposed to behave when you have that much wealth and that much power. You never would have seen the Earl of Oxford go up there and say, oh yes, and also I was the best at the fox hunt, right? That was gauche. You didn't behave that way. And Trump, for a lot of people, that is his appeal. But I would urge that you step back for a moment and ask yourself, why do you think that is appealing? I could almost see it if this guy came up out of the backwoods of Virginia, but he didn't. He was handed everything he had in life, man. And the things that he built, he mostly fucking destroyed. He's conned people. He's ruined lives. He was always known for ripping off contractors. I knew this about him long before he got into politics, just from being a New Yorker who grew up around a lot of contractors. Everybody knew not to work for Trump because he wasn't going to pay you. The guy's he's a miserable scumbag. And because he's not coming out of politics per se, yeah, man, I mean, he says some shit that's true, but it's unintelligible and it's likely to change in the next 5 minutes. If you look at that little segment where he talks about war, first he makes a case for imperialism. So they used to say, to the victors go the spoils. but we go in there and we bomb and then we leave. So he's making this argument that, well, you shouldn't go in there unless you're going to steal the Hope Diamond. Why would you go? And then the next minute he's going, and that should be a last resort, all these bombs falling on people. So what does he believe? He doesn't believe anything. He lies constantly. That was one of the most fascinating things about watching him up close, just how much he just reflexively lies, where a woman faints and it's an opportunity for him to just, it's really like a pathological liar. Just, yes, it's tough. Some people were waiting out there for 2 days. It's just a lie. He's just constantly lying. He told a whole story about, which I just referenced, about the president of Mexico and getting him to provide 28,000 soldiers, otherwise he's going to sign a tariff on Monday morning. The president can't just by fiat impose a 25% tariff on Mexico, but his crowd is just gonna, eat that up. All of the themes, even that little clip that I showed where he talks about how he didn't want to call it a rally, he wanted to call it a meeting. It's an interesting formulation that he uses a lot, and a lot of con artists use that, particularly in politics. The idea that they're reluctant to accept all of this adoration from the people, but there's just nothing they can do about it. The people keep coming. Yeah, I said, let's just call it a meeting, not a rally. But I guess we got to admit it's a rally. Yeah, Donald Trump tried to downplay what they were going to call this rally in the Bronx.
Well, I think on that score, I think they were unsure of what the attendance was going to be, and the attendance was not great. Honestly, like it should have been bigger. It was not that big. If you look at the aerial shots, that's
crowd, fake news.
Yeah, it was really not a huge crowd.
It was the biggest rally ever. Well,
this
is fake news right here. My partner is spreading fake news.
Yeah. I think part of why is because, he kind of oversaturated things by having that giant Wildwood, New Jersey rally. Like, I think a lot of people in the area who were going to come see him probably went there. It was somewhat of an underwhelming crowd, which is probably why he's saying at the time, I wanted to call this a meeting, not a rally. In other words, sort of lowering expectations in retrospect. Right.
With
hindsight.
But he's lying. Yeah. And he does that constantly. Because he knows his audience is not going to question him. Now, the question of fascism, you watch that video, man. If you didn't see the fascist overtones, I'm sorry. Of course there were fascist overtones. Now, I want to be fair. The Bernie crowds were not, didn't have that cultish quality. I can remember after the Washington Square rally, people who shook his hand, I guess, at the end. I just touched Bernie. I mean, it's celebrity mentality. It's just, I think, and certainly Obama, right, with Chris Matthews' tingling leg and all that shit. I mean, you always get that, but because of the kinds of themes that Trump hits on, there's a very dark quality to the cult of personality around Trump, with the chanting of send them back. Now, if you watch the show, you know that we do not discount that what is happening at the border and the virtually unrestrained immigration at the border is a real problem. And we have speculated on whether it's being allowed to suppress wages, because this seemed to come up right at the moment that workers were finally starting to get leverage again after decades of union membership shrinking, starting to rebuild unions. So yeah, we're not blind to that. But at the same time, if you look at the kind of rhetoric that he uses, it is very fascistic. It is very scapegoating the other. And that's why I include it. He said quite a few things in that direction. He said one thing that, again, was just very strange and certainly not true. You got people coming here who speak languages that nobody in the country speaks. Nobody knows where these people are coming from. There is no fucking people coming to this country speaking a language that no one in America speaks.
Right.
What? They're fucking they're Apache code talkers from World War II. Like, who's coming here that nobody speaks? They speak Esperanto. What are they speaking that nobody in America speaks? So he just invokes the worst instincts in his crowd with things like that. And if you look at what he says, we've talked about how Democrats like to invoke the cult of safetyism. I always mention AOC. I thought this was particularly scummy, where this was when they started to not let Jose in. And she gave a whole thing about, she gave an interview saying, these are people who are coming from outside the community, or she might have dropped that on Instagram. People are coming from outside the community. What does that mean, outside the community? They're Americans, right? What does that mean? But that's meant to create a kind of ick, right? Like there's something threatening about these people coming from outside the community. Trump's doing that on a very large scale. They're coming with burners and tents. Who are these people coming with burners and tents? What are you talking about? And if they did, wouldn't that indicate that they were trying to live out in a fucking desert on the way here? But he takes that to they're trying to destroy us from within, like this is a Trojan horse. The immigrants are coming in and they're building an army within the United States and they're going to attack you. That is very fascistic, to make people afraid of the other in that way. And yes, there are many black and brown people there, and this is an element of what I'm saying when I say it's fascism with American features. Listen, as much as MSNBC and company want to make this about race because they want to avoid having to address the failures of their class that empowered and enabled Donald Trump's political career, it's not about race. America is not white enough for a white nationalist fascist movement to really get off the ground. You want a fascist movement in America, it's going to be an American version of that, which means it's going to be multiracial fascism. It's going to be a fascism not of race, but of ideology, where the people who don't share your ideology are the others. Those are the ones that we, the Voke, are going to get together and defeat. To think this is a movement about race, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. This has the elements of fascism, of firing up a rightly discouraged and disaffected working class and directing their rage at an object that is not the real source of their problems in order to avoid having their rage pointed at the actual ruling class. That is what this is. It's the flip side, just like the douchebag dialogues. The anti-woke scene is the flip side of woke. The system needs both of them. The anti-woke sucks in the people who are inclined to think that way. The woke brings in people who are inclined to think that way. And while they're arguing with each other, your actual rulers are riding off into the sunset with their saddlebags full of loot. That's what this is, man. It's the other side of that duopoly that keeps people chained inside the system. That's all this is. Donald Trump is not going to change anything. He has no intentions of changing anything. He'll tweet shit that'll make you feel good, and he'll insult some of the people that you don't like. But in the end, just like in his first term, he's not going to do shit that's actually going to improve. Don't tell me about his fucking tax cuts. 80% of that went to the top income earners. Oh, you got a few crumbs? You get a few crumbs from Biden. At that point, go vote for Biden. If that's all it takes, that's all you care about. Just he'll give you some crumbs. That's what Trump gave you. He gave you a few crumbs. On war, yeah, I mean, he wasn't as warlike, but listen to him speak about Israel now. He's as bad, if not worse, than Biden. So he's not going to do anything for you there. So again, I mean, none of this is an argument for Biden. For a very long time, we have been post-duopoly, a pox on both their houses. I feel bad because Trump sucks in more of my people, whereas I don't really see the liberal class types who tend to vote Democrat. They're not really my people. These are more my people. And I hate to see them get conned and hoodwinked by this fucking trust fund scumbag like that. But that is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the militarism score, when it comes to, Israel and stuff like that, and when it comes to Trump versus the deep state in general, right? I think it's easy to root for the mafia against the FBI because you figure the FBI is the gang with all the money and the power, and the mafia, they're kind of these like renegades who are, fighting the system in their own way, right? So it's easy to root for the mob against the FBI since, they're both murderers. They'll both kill you. But that's the thing you have to keep in mind. They'll both kill you. They'll both kill you, right? So you don't want to idolize the mob too much as tempting as it can be, right?
Sure.
And so, I think that is that's an apt metaphor. As for, the appeal of Trumpism, I think this is why our friend Anish Shivani nailed it when he said it's really a movement born of despair. It is really, when you see that crowd, you see a group of people acknowledging the end of something. It really is this like New Orleans funeral. It's a jazz funeral. It's big, loud, bawdy, but ultimately it's more a tragic movement than a movement of real triumph. And one of the keys to success in that way is you rig the expectation. So when he says, well, we got immigrants sleeping in our schools, right? Well, what is the implication there? The implication there is that I'm going to get them out of your schools. And once the immigrants are out of your schools, what's the complaint about your fucking schools? I got the immigrants out of the schools. Am I going to rebuild the schools? Am I going to invest in the schools? Am I going to give teachers a raise? No. But I'm going to get the dirty immigrants out of the schools. So you'll have your beautiful, clean American schools back. That's how you rig the expectations, right? You set people's expectation as, let's get the immigrants out of our buildings. And once you do that, you've won, and we claim that as a victory, right? You don't actually have to improve the building. You don't actually have to invest in the institution beyond ridding it of this, agent of infestation. Right. And, that definitely has its appeal. And part of the reason it has its appeal, and perhaps part of the reason why the Trump movement succeeded where the Bernie movement failed, is partly because he had the balls to tell the RNC, if you rig it against me, I'm going to run as a third-party candidate, which we all know. But also that jiggering of the expectations is hugely important. Because that is what convinces people that your goals are actually feasible, right? I mean, we can build a wall. We can control the border. We can keep the immigrants out if we want to. You set that as a goal, that's something you can actually deliver on. It's something that strikes people as actually doable, as actually achievable. Whereas when Bernie Sanders goes and says, well, we're going to cancel everyone's medical debt, or we're going to provide everyone health care, and the media, both left-wing, quote-unquote, and right-wing media, say, well, that's not possible. Well, of course. I mean, which of those movements is going to be more successful? A movement that is grounded in tangible and sort of easily achievable, or at least easily conceptualized goals of, okay, if people are coming from here to here, when we put a wall here, then they can't get there, right? Like, that's easy enough to digest. And that's very important. That's very, very important when you're talking about building a political movement. And on the movement point, I mean, I noticed this. I mean, we were at Trump rallies. I mean, I went to a couple of Trump rallies in 2016 just to take in the scene. But, this last one I was at in New Hampshire was fucking 0 degrees. So I didn't talk. I mean, I talked to people, but I didn't have like 8-minute conversations with people.
You almost got punched in the mouth. You got to bring these buttons.
Yeah, it's true. I almost got punched in the mouth, and I had one guy stick with me for like 8 minutes. Everyone else wanted to give me 45 seconds and then put their head back in their jacket so that their lips didn't freeze. So it was a little tougher. But generally when I go, when you go to one of these Trump rallies, even in the warm weather, I noticed this in 2016, unlike the Bernie rallies, which were complete with people pamphleting for different causes, hands off Venezuela, right? Free Assange, we saw these at the Bernie 2020 rallies. You don't see much. I have not seen any of that at a Trump rally. I haven't seen people with outside
They were very
causes
excited about George
come
Santos.
And well, yeah, Santos, exactly. You don't see these other activist groups go and say, hey, there's a Trump rally here. Let's try to enlist people in this cause, right? Yeah, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I haven't been to enough to say that categorically. I'm saying I've not seen any of that in any of the rallies I've been to or in any of the coverage I've seen. It's much more of a carnival. It's much more of a carnival atmosphere. It's where you got people selling merch. You got people, you know, selling flags, hot dogs. I mean, there was this one guy in Scranton, Pennsylvania rally. Not Scranton, that was outside Philly, one of the Philly suburbs. I forget the town it was. He had a hot dog, a trailer full of hot dogs, chips and stuff, and he traveled with the campaign. Like, that's what you see at the Trump rally. You don't see a lot of movement building there. You don't see a lot of people there who have their causes, who are there to enlist people from this campaign into their movement. And at the Bernie rallies, you saw a lot of
none of that yesterday. None of it.
At the Bernie rallies, you saw a lot of that. That's a huge difference. That's a huge difference.
And when you look at, and aside from it being funny, probably for me, the funniest line in this entire video is George Santos supports NAMBLA.
Yeah, that guy, the troll. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was too much. But okay, man. What can you say about a political movement, so-called, that gets excited about George Santos? What's his claim to fame? That he basically did John Lovett's Saturday Night Live lying man character for real and wrote it all the way into Congress. Yeah. And then I performed brain surgery and saved the Queen of England. That's the ticket. Yeah.
He's the Eric Fogel. That was in Seinfeld. John Lovitz played the liar, the guy who said he had cancer but didn't.
Yeah. Well, he was doing that character. But I mean, that's why, because the establishment out of Congress, like, do you distinguish between one and the other? You know, it's very much like how the hippies embraced the Hells Angels because they thought that everyone that the man was against was on their side, and then someone got stabbed at Altamont and they realized these guys are basically fascists. They were pro-Vietnam War, right? It's very much like that. Like, oh, they're against them, so hey, George Santos. I mean, they, on the one hand, they have a lot of critiques of the country that are valid critiques, and that is one of the problems with the liberal class. Like, they cannot acknowledge these critiques without admitting their complicity in creating those conditions. So they're not even able to talk about them, which leaves a huge lane for Trump to be the only person talking about these complaints. Joe Biden is running around talking about how great the economy is.
Right.
So who, if you're a frustrated working class person, who are you going to go to? And I'm not suggesting that Biden is a better option. I'm just saying there are no good options. And until the working people really get their heads out of their asses and get behind somebody besides a vulgar trust fund kid, they're always going to be in this condition. They're always going to be in this position. And you want to talk about the Trump economy? Listen, we had historically low interest rates and a roaring stock market for about 15 fucking years. Donald Trump walked right into that. He walked right into a very long streak of low inflation and low interest rates. There was this long period of Goldilocks economics. Then COVID happened. And hey, I do blame Biden, but not for the reasons that Trump's going to tell you. These corporations took advantage of the pandemic to price gouge, and then they just kept their prices up for, and they will keep them up for as long as they think they can get away with it. And Biden didn't do anything about it. Biden didn't go on TV and name the CEOs of those companies and tell the American people to stop buying products from these companies. Can you imagine what the impact would be if he did something like that? But he never would. So he is to blame, but not because people got child tax credits. See, this is what I always say. This is the peasant mentality where you want to go get the stick to beat your own ass. Oh yeah, no, they gave me tax credits. See, that's why we have inflation. Anything but to look at the price gouging corporations. anything but to look at the oil companies fixing prices. That's who really runs things. Did you see Trump say anything about that? No, and you won't, because he's a fucking con man.
Yeah. Well said. All right, let's go to some super chats, and then we do have the Q&A here. Hey, Jake, while we're paused, and I'll get to some super chats, but let's hit our Patreon scroll. If you like what we do, you can help us do it by going to patreon.com/DoDissidents and becoming a member. You can become a member for as little as $5 a month on Patreon, Substack, or Locals. So that's patreon.com/DoDissidents, DoDissidents.substack.com, or you can join our Locals at DoDissidents.locals.com. If you're watching on Rumble, we got 2,500 strong over in the Rumble chat. That's beautiful to see. You can hit that join button right underneath the screen and join our Locals community. I believe all the Locals members should be up on the screen now. We had a little bit of an issue syncing those, but I think that has been resolved. And so we're sorry about that if that was the case. But perks of joining include members only streams, supporter exclusive live streams twice per month. We are doing our second one of May this week. We'll have that date finalized by Tuesday's show. What do we say? We're going to do that Wednesday afternoon or something like that. I forget what exactly we said, but it'll be a matinee. So I think it'll be Thursday afternoon. I think that's what we're going to do. So Thursday will be a doubleheader, but we'll confirm that Tuesday. You also get call-in access to our Q&As, which are after every Sunday night show, including, of course, tonight, since tonight is Sunday. So you get call-in access to those. And you also get, like I said, your name up in lights here on the Patreon scroll. You also get live stream access to our live shows in New York City. We're doing 2 live shows on June 9th. That's a Sunday, one at 2 p.m., one at 7 p.m. So the channel will be dark that night, but if you sign up, you will get access to a very, very special stream that evening at 7 p.m. and that afternoon at 2 p.m. So once again, that's patreon.com/DoDissidents, DoDissidents.substack.com, or you can join our Locals. You guys are the backbone of the show. Thank you very much for your support. All right, let's see. Did I miss any super chats while that came in? One thing we got to definitely get going. Got to get this StreamYard working right by Tuesday for sure. My difference with the gray zones is quintessential. You really think U.S. empire is collapsing just because U.S. funds genocide, logic of geopolitics not changing, U.S. military bases around China increasing. I think we're lashing out. I think we're lashing out because it's ending.
Yeah. I mean, that's not unusual at the end of the empire. It reaches its maximum militarization and then crumbles because it goes broke.
Exactly. Indeed. All these poor working people putting all their faith in yet another uber-rich, charismatic huckster working for the oligarchy. Enough to make a man depressed. Thank you, Goba44.
Amen.
B, thanks for the 199, says, this is great, Russ. Well done. Fascinating crowd.
Thank you.
Thank you, B. Anna Miller, thank you for the 499. Appreciate that.
That was a rough day. Not because of the crowd, but it was hot. I literally there was no seating. I had to fucking stand for 2 hours before it even started.
2 days.
And then another 2 hours once it did. Yeah, 2 days. I was out there for 2 days. With my burner in my tent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Aposmiosi, thank you for the £5. Sadly, people are desperate and are congregating around the neocon cabal puppet whose policies have favored the 1%. Trump is far from a true populist. Thank you. Rob Morgan, from the Potomac to the sea. Epsteinites run D.C. From the Potomac to the sea. I like that. When Trump fails them as Bernie failed us, hopefully they will become post-duopolists like those who have awakened. The sleeper has awakened. Well, that's the thing. He kind of already has. Like the idea, well, he's a businessman, so surely he knows how to do it. Well, what do you mean?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to some Rumble rants. Eric Montag, thank you for the $5. Any comment on the Harvard Morehouse graduations?
We never did those, right?
Yeah, well, Morehouse, look, I watched Biden's entire Morehouse speech. I didn't see anything of note. I understand there were some silent protests. I know I think it was the valedictorian said some things that were good, but I didn't really see anything too noteworthy there. The Harvard stuff, there was some stuff that I saw. Can't really speak to it at this point. I got to look at it more. Maybe we'll do something on that during the week because I did see some stuff, but I couldn't really speak to it intelligently yet. But what I saw was I saw some good stuff. I recall, if I'm remembering correctly, like if what I'm remembering was from Harvard, then yes, there's some good stuff there for sure. McDougal, LOL, just went back and watched your react from the beginning. Complete L take. You guys don't give Trump any credit for talking to anyone. It made the Libertarian Party look unserious and weak. Sad. Listen, man.
I'm starting to think this is Trump.
Yeah, right. That is Trump. That is Trump. Yeah, and Trump would only tip us $5, given his net worth. Assuming it's not Trump, that's a generous donation. But if it is Trump, that's consistent with his character for sure. I am a dissident. Yeah, look, when you're the Libertarian Party, no press is bad press, and he gave them a lot of free press, a ton of free press, and that's not bad press. No press is bad press when you have a low profile.
Nope.
That's some Obi-Wan level mind tricking, Russ. There's $1 Million Trooper. Thank you for that. Can you two, Old Stoner says, write a one-man play of Trump running government from federal prison? That would be a funny play, actually.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Ellen Jimerson says, Russ, y'all should come to Alabama, Tennessee. I'll show you around. You'd be surprised. I think at the demographics, biracial couples in poor areas, few in moneyed areas, and most people are poor.
You know what? That actually wouldn't surprise me. I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I will take you up on that offer one of these days.
There you go. J.K. Michael, Trump is a narcissistic egomaniac, but he is a dramatically better president than Biden.
I mean, if that ain't a leper with the most fingers contest, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I agree. Miserable Lib TX Preach Russell, thank you. Eric Montag, Keaton the Wise, thank you. Appreciate that. Trumpapalooza says my real name. Appreciate that. All right, that's our Rumble rants. Let's go to some rest of these YouTube super chats, and then we are going to go over to the Q&A shortly. So get ready. If you want to head over there, you can go to dudissidents.com/Rumble. That takes you directly to this current live stream. So it's super easy. You don't got to go to the channel and find us. Jake made us that redirect link. So just go to dudissidents.com/Rumble, and that will take you to this current live stream here. Sparky says, I'm afraid neocon warmongers have been hanging around Trump the last few years just in case he gets elected to influence him. Often Trump's only as good as the last person he spoke with. I mean, look.
That guy says two different things in the same fucking paragraph, man. He said we should rob their resources and we shouldn't be starting wars.
Yeah, and then it's a last resort.
Same paragraph.
Yeah. He let John Bolton into the cabinet. I mean, that tells you everything. You know, John Bolton. I mean, the fact that you would even give that guy an interview.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to say get it out of ignorance? Well, why do you want someone that ignorant as the president?
Yeah, not good. Believe me, not good. Strange how Trump has zero history of caring about the working class, yet he's suddenly our savior. Trump is a current-day evangelical pastor. Thank you, baby Ethernet. Appreciate that. Kuznetsky Bassane, thanks for the $2.99. Appreciate that. Nina Kraus, thank you for the $2. Appreciate that. Stephen Hayes, that's mean. I can't put that on the screen. That's mean. Keaton for $20. Exterminated. All right, I'm not even going to read that sentence. But Russell resurrected voodoo, $40. So it's a win-win. All right, I get what you're saying. That's a little mean. Oops, I put it up there by accident anyway. Russ, Keaton 2024, vote do no matter who. That was a freebie, but I like that one. That's fun. Vote do no matter who. That could be a t-shirt. We should sell that for campaign season.
We should sell that.
Right? Why not? All right, here we go.
I want to do Deep Peasant Your Mind merch. I'm trying to figure out what the image would be.
There we go. Yeah. FYI, oh boy, now you're going to start. Okay, now we're getting a call from Jacob. World Socialist website repeatedly equated the Russian SMO with the Ukrainian bloody massacre ongoing for 10 years of Russian civilians in the Donbass. JD sniffed them out years ago. It is a mistake to promote them. All right, well, now we're getting a call from Jacob. Thanks for that.
You know what? You just reminded me. This is a rather joyous week for me. Troops have abandoned my personal Donbass and will be returning for their equipment on Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
In other words, I almost have my apartment back to myself.
Yes. Yeah, indeed.
That will be very nice. I'm very excited.
Scorpionic Sag, thanks for $20. That's kind of you. I see Glenn Greenwald as older Gen X speaking to younger Gen X, millennials, and Zoomers. I see Chappelle as the beginning of younger Gen X. Max Blumenthal is another young Gen X. Is Max Gen X or is Max a millennial?
He's a millennial. He's a millennial.
I think Max is. I got to claim Max for our side. You know.
I think Chappelle's older than me.
He's Gen X. No, I think he's 50. That's what the article said.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's what the article said. Okay. En passant, I always get busy and I'm stuck watching from behind. Sending this 50 minutes into the future. Good work to Russ at Braga. Thank you, en passant. Appreciate that. Let's see, Roachy boy. Thanks for the $1. When are the DD team or Russ flying solo coming to Australia? Not for a while.
We keep getting that question.
Keep getting that question. Yeah, that's going to take some planning.
Okay. So I've said for a while my next big trip will be to China. I might stop off and see the ex-wife in Australia and the ex-in-laws. So I might be in Australia. Maybe I should arrange a solo. Russell Dobula or A Man in His Memories.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, we're going to take
Russell Dobula Cabaret.
There you go. Kerry Scott, thank you, Net and Yahoo. It's you for this calamity. It's insanity. Ceasefire we desire. It's peace and cooperation. We need innovation. Stop drafting young boys and old men. Given a chance, they'll do it again. Thank you, Kerry Scott. Appreciate that. Will Trump remain a hero to these MAGA people once he's done as president? That's a good question. I wonder who will be heir to the throne. Well, this was a piece that I wanted to maybe put together. I mean, for this show, we are obviously running almost 3 hours, plus we got the Q&A. But for this week, I do want to do something on Tom Cotton because reporting is he's emerged as a top front runner. Like whoever, that's the thing you got to really pay attention to now is who he picks as VP. Because don't forget, assuming he wins, and that's not a lock, I don't think, but he's the favorite at this point. I mean, smart money is certainly on him. Whoever the VP is, it becomes the front runner to win the presidency in 4 years. And so that becomes a very, very big
I mean, Tom
choice.
Cotton, I mean, that's like the president in Escape from L.A.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cotton is really, I mean, I don't want to say Hitler. I don't want to make those comparisons. But Tom Cotton is, I mean, really bad. I mean, I call him the Patrick Bateman of Little Rock, right? Or is it Jason Bateman or Patrick Bateman? One of them's the actor. One of them's the American Psycho character. I always mix him up.
Patrick Bateman is the character.
That's the character. All right. So no disrespect to Jason Bateman there. He seems like an affable guy. What Russ is describing is the reason we need MAGA communism. Oh, yeah. MAGA needs to move past Trump. He tapped into working class rage and is misdirecting it. There was an article about MAGA communism, I think in The Hill, or some outlet wrote a big piece on it.
I mean, another word for MAGA communism is communism.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You don't really need to call it MAGA communism. It's communism.
That is true. The Libertarian Party is right now voting to have any nominee at all. So they're voting on whether or not to run somebody? Is that what that means? That'd be hilarious if they came out of the convention just deciding we're not going to run anybody. That's the ultimate libertarian move.
We're so anti-state. We don't have a nominee.
We are voting to nominate no one. That's right. Jake, if you caught any that I missed, now would be the time to put them up because I missed them. We're having a little bit of a difficulty with StreamYard tonight, folks, where it's not flagging the Super Chats properly. So Jake is going to take this from here on out. Hey, DD, Glenn Larry's wife is a big fan. I saw that. You shouted out your show in a New York Times article. We did see that. We made the New York Times. Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to have him on, actually. It's like John McWhorter, but not a douchebag.
Let's bring like John McWhorter, but not a stupid douchebag. Let's bring him on with the wife. She's a fan. Let's make it a foursome here. Yeah, let's do it. Tina Krause, thank you for the $2.
So to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. Right, exactly. Stay in the good fight, DD. Thank you, Kuznetsky Singh. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for the $59.99 EGP dollars, whatever those are. And I think we just got one more. You promised soundbite for my rhymes, a beatbox. Oh, yeah, we were a little behind on the music thing. We'll start that next week, though.
Next week, and listen, once again, folks are sending me like Queensryche or the Irish band that you dig that you have absolutely no permission to impart their work to us. Yeah, we're not original music that you have the right to grant us a one night permission to use it in the intermission.
Or like your friend who, if we ask you to call him and ask him, you can get in touch with in
like
a day.
some right to offer this.
Exactly.
Not a band I like that I have no connection to.
Right.
We can do that. We don't need people to suggest that.
Exactly. Absalom Jones, thanks for the $5. What's your opinion on Hassan Piker? I'm not sure about the left on Twitch. Yeah, I don't watch him enough. I mean, from what I can see, seems like a punk, but I mean, whatever. I don't think about what's the line in Casablanca. You know, I would despise you if I thought about you more.
I probably would if I thought about you more.
Yeah, I'd hate you. I don't hate you. I probably would if I thought about you.
You despise me, Rick. I probably would if I thought about you enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about Hassan to say anything like that. All right. Yeah, I don't watch this stuff anymore. Can you name one congressperson, says Dominic Morrow, that you admire? I mean, that's tough. I mean, I like what Thomas Massey's been doing recently with the Julian Assange stuff. I admire certain aspects of some people. Like, I think Rashida Tlaib brings a certain experience as a Palestinian woman. Like, when she, advocates for her people, I find that admirable. I don't see that as compatible with advocating for Joe Biden. I mean, she's made noises to Biden. We're not going to forget this in November. I don't know what that means, but I think she should unendorse him. I'd admire her a lot if she did that.
Yep.
Thomas Massey, I'm sure there's stuff of his that I don't agree with, but I admire his Assange, stuff. So, I mean, so to answer your question, no, there's no person I admire. I will give credits where credit's due when certain politicians do things that I think are important. That's rare. But no, like, are there people I hold up as people I admire, as heroes of mine in Congress? No, I can't think of one.
Yeah, I have to say, probably because I remember what the pressure of that moment was like. I do admire Barbara Lee voting the way she did on Iraq.
Yes.
Because at that fucking moment, that was a tough vote to take, man. That was a tough vote to take. And that's why she's the only one who took it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Eric Montag, nice hair and glasses. Thank you. Scorpionic Sag. Oh, you're going to get into the astrology here. Greenwald has Pluto in Virgo, born in 1967. Chappelle has Pluto in Libra, born 1973.
Older than me.
Who? Greenwald?
Greenwald. He's aging. He's aging very nicely.
Max has Pluto in Libra, born in 77. People born from 85 to 95 have Pluto in Scorpio. I see them as millennials. Interesting. Thank you. Roachy Boy, thank you for the Rumble rant here. Australia is in a fascinating position politically, strung between the hard power of the U.S. and financial and geographic power of China. It would be great to see Russ's Vox Pops. There you go. Thank you for that. Looks like we got one more super chat here. Morning from Egypt. Love your show and honesty. Well, thank you. Salutations.
That's another place I might go next year.
There you go. Awesome. Alrighty, folks. Well, that is our show. Phone lines are open. Patreon members, paid Substackers, and paid Locals members, you can call in during the intermission if you would like to say hello. We are going to head over to Rumble right now. There will be a 5-minute intermission before we continue the proceedings here. The after party, shall we say, the post-show question and answer. Thanks, Jake, for being with us in the booth this evening. Appreciate you as always. Thank you guys all for showing up. We will see you guys. Jake, hit that one last super chat, please. I just saw you said that here. Newsom Kushner 24. Thank you, Sparky. We will see you guys over in 5 minutes over on Rumble. That's dudissidents.com/Rumble. That takes you directly to this stream. Otherwise, we'll see you Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. Until whenever we see you again, thank you very much for this evening. Hope you enjoyed the show. It was a special one, something a little different tonight. But thank you guys for making it possible for us to do that kind of work, for Russ to get out there and bust his ass all day for that presentation. So thank you guys very much. We will see you in 5 minutes over on Rumble, unless you're going to bed, in which case we'll see you Tuesday. Thanks very much. Be safe. Be well.
Courage.
Please clap.